my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my pen ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem been better. Gotta keep on chugging, ran through everything in front of me. Might smoke bed heavy, got a whole agenda. Can't aspire to get ahead, so bump that, it's no surrender. Got a dollar flipped up, I'm trying to get it in FT to get them when they're in hand and crypto. Learn how to fix that. I don't really hold out of books, but I'ma learn how to fix that. Some opportunities are never come unless you paying attention, so no, I can't miss that. Moving, MVP, I got the record, I might have to prove something. Big jumper worthy, they gon' have to retire my jersey early. Whole crew coming, had to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket, yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits, yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no wins, yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen, putting hours in my practice, I did all that, yeah. I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. Hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs, yeah. I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. Hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. Run it, ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my big dog, walking big talk, young veteran, living legend, bet I'm better than them. This is my ship, I'm a jacket like Letterman, y'all better not let them in. They gon' rotate this, so I keep the pedaling, started a chain. The cycle is heaven sent, this is from God, but I'm not your reverend, not in the pulpit. I'm a pit bull in this element, yeah. Said you gon' pull up, then settle it, yeah. I've been married to this hustle, this is my ring, watch out step in it, yeah. And I ain't even got a yard, but I'ma get it here. Watch out touchdown, pulling plans out the clutch. Everybody getting crushed, the cut down is for us now. Have to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket, yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits, yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no wins, yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen, putting hours in my practice, I did all that, yeah. I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. Hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs, yeah. I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. Hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. Run it, ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my, yeah. Run it, I can't take no loss, I don't even know what it costs, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. Hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. I can't take no loss, I don't even know what it costs, yeah.
Bold, extraordinary, smooth.
Nadash.
Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. He is Jay, the chosen one. I am Greg, a legend in my own mind. Jay, what's going on?
Nothing, trying to make it, man. I can't call it, though. Trying to make it, but can't call it.
Same here, man. Let's go ahead and give some love to the people that support the channel, Rock Dog Interactive. If you need anything relative to graphic design, website design, Rock Dog Interactive, that's where you need to go. They can get it to you. Black Father Figures, that's our guy, the League of Legacies. I haven't seen the League of Legacies in a while, but that is our dude. He's doing some wonderful work in terms of Black Fathers. Go check that out as well. And then you guys just saw the intro to our newest sponsor, Nadaj Vodka, the smoothest vodka I've ever tasted. Got this special kiwi flavor, man. The distillery that they are working with, African-American owned. The owner of Nadaj Vodka is also African-American. Great tasting vodka. You guys need to go check it out. Smooth, bold, and extraordinary. All right, Jay. You know we don't really mess around like that, man, and do all that other stuff, man, trying to kill time and shit. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. What's going on?
Not much, man. Just just give a couple of little shout outs. Salutes to Chi-Town's Finest and Ray Sanders. They were the first one in here. Of course, Bruce Gas, always in the building.
Bruce Gas, what's going on with you?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know some people saw some of the fights last night. Did you were you able to see any of the fight with Navarrete and Oscar Valdez?
I saw the entire fight with Trayvon Marshall. I saw the entire fight with Gary Anton Russell. I watched a little bit of the Navarrete fight, but not. Everything else was just bits and pieces of rounds because I was actually out last night and was able to catch some of it earlier today.
Yeah. The other fights you mentioned on Trayvon Marshall, man, I was surprised at that one. Him getting stopped in the first round and losing in general. I was surprised at Trayvon Marshall.
Second round, he lost.
Second round? Oh, second round. Yeah, man, those two shots, those two knockdowns he took in the second round, I was just like, damn. But it was good to see Gary Anton Russell in there. Even although it was only for one round, it was good to see him back. Hopefully he stays active because I think he can bring some heat in the 140-pound division.
No, man, it was good to see him back in there. Jay, tell the people for the record, I think that was Thursday night, what I told you was going to happen in that fight. Could you go ahead and just bring up the message in your phone and tell him exactly what I said was going to happen in that fight?
You said Russell's going to get him up out of there.
Yeah, something like that. No, let me go and find it because I like to quote myself, especially when I'm right. I'm usually right, except a couple of weeks ago or a few weeks ago.
Barry Hollowitz, people. Barry Hollowitz.
I mean,
also known as Greg. Tapping himself on the back.
Hey man, you don't do it enough, so I might well do it for myself. What did I say? I can't even find it right now. It'll come to me. But anyway, yeah, man, it was good seeing Devin Russell.
You said he was gonna get Cruz up out of there real fast because Cruz got dropped by the other cat he had 2 draws with twice.
Yeah, I said Russell's going to beat the shit out of this N-word. That was Thursday night. Nah, I mean, I saw it right from the beginning, man. If you look at how he looked against Gogo Kia, he was susceptible to the leaping or the hook in general, the right hook in general. Gogo Kia dropped him twice. I believe both times were in the 6th round, and he ended up getting a split draw. I mean, he was somewhat robotic. I mean, decent fighter, nothing bad about him, but there was nothing that I felt that was going to give him a challenge whatsoever. So, yeah, I mean, it was what it was. Now, Gary Russell in there with the other 140-pound fighters that are, I would call elite, your Teofimo Lopez's, your Ryan Garcia, who else is there? Devin Haney's moving up there, Regis Prograis, Hitchens, Catterall, all those guys. I think he's in the mix. Ramirez, all those guys. He's in the mix, right? He's in the mix to fight with those guys. He's just going to need to get the opportunity. I like what Gary Russell Jr. had to say after the fight, which was there's some opportunity for growth there. You need to get right back into the lab and improve on your skills. I think that's important for every young fighter, specifically Gary Anton Russell, because, I mean, he's got to be 26 now, I think. I think he's 26.
Yeah.
And he only has 17 fights, dog. Like, it's time to he got to start stepping it up at this point and making sure that he's getting his name in there with some of get his activity up. He should be trying to get back into the ring, man. Probably end of the year, early next year, and try to fight at least 2 or 3 times next year. He got to get himself back in the mix, and he got to be more active so that he can get his name in the hat with some of those elite at 140 pounds.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Activity is going to be good for him. So, I mean, since we're talking about the 140s, we may as well talk about, the potential fight that's upcoming with Haney and Prograis. Is it signed? Is it not signed? What's your thoughts on that, man?
Well, it's not signed, clearly, just by the interaction that's associated with.
Well, Regis said he signed. One side said they signed.
It ain't signed, right? It's signed when both parties have signed the contract. It's a strange situation. How is it that Regis has signed the contract to fight Devin Haney on a specific date Now, a lot of times in these negotiations, like the venue may not be finalized at the point in which you agree and sign your paperwork, but the date and those types of things, sometimes even the date might not be finalized, but how is he signing, saying that there was a specific date in the contract, yet Devin Haney is still in discussion with God, I'm losing his name right now. Give me his name. Yeah, Eddie Hearns. He's still in negotiation with Eddie Hearns in terms of the date and things of that nature. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. And then it's like Regis is confusing because one minute he says he knows the date, and they ask him about the date, and they thought it was the same day as Tyson Fury, which is October 28th, and he's like, nope, wasn't that date. But Devin made allude to the fact that, hey, this dumbass is trying to get us to fight on the same date as Tyson Fury. So, but I thought he knew business. So if it's not on the same date as Tyson Fury, if it's a week before, 2 weeks before, what's the issue? On the Haney side, you know what I'm saying? I don't. It's something. There's too much of a disconnect there.
I mean, I don't.
Too much
really
of a
know.
disconnect.
I don't really know, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I wouldn't want to have my fight in the same month of another big fight because there's only so many pay-per-view dollars that are going to go around, right? So I can understand being hesitant not to sign up for something where it could cut into your revenue. So I'm I understand that. I don't know what the specifics are. Clearly, Devin Haney and his team, Bill Haney, they negotiate directly with Eddie Hearns, and it's more so Regis Prograis just allowing or just relying on Eddie to be his representative, which is fine. But then at the same time, Regis, why go straight to social media and make those comments when you can just connect with your promoter and ask a question? Like I think sometimes, I don't know. Personally, I think a lot of times the fighters like to go to social media just to promote, and I think making those comments in the social media space is helpful for promoting the fight. But then I think in this particular case, it might have just backfired on Regis when he had the opportunity to just go directly to his promoter and say, "Hey, what's going on with the fight?"
Yeah, I agree with that. I've never been one to like for business to be done out in the open, especially in social media. I know that's the day and age and time that we're in with social media, but real business to me is done behind closed doors. You see the finished product after it's signed, sealed, and delivered at that point in time. I don't
Tunnel
like all
Vision
this here, but
Tunnel Vision just gave us some good information. That Fury fight is not going to be pay-per-view here in the States. That's fine, but it's still, definitely from a date perspective, you definitely still don't want it on the same date. I still won't want my fight on the same date as something that if it's going to be big. But yeah, in the same month, I would agree with that. Tunnel Vision. If it's not going to be on pay-per-view, then that wouldn't impact it.
yeah.
But yeah, go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, I was gonna say it's like plus that's a MMA fighter versus a boxer.
Yeah.
It's more of a it's almost like the YouTube type stuff to me. It's a gimmick fight. It's just I don't understand how they're letting Tyson Fury keep his belt. With what he's doing right now, but it is what it is. I just want Devin and Regis to go ahead and get everything done, get it out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready to see them get it out of the way as well. I'm curious to see what Devin looks like in the ring versus Regis Prograis. I know Tunnel Vision is doubtful. Tunnel Vision is not a Devin Haney fan if you guys have not recognized that yet. Shout out to my dog, Tunnel Vision. But I would love to see what Devin looks like in the ring versus Regis Prograis. Regis looked a little bit suspect in his last fight. Devin brings a similar style, but I think with better skills. So we'll see. Bill Haney is saying they got a warrant out for Regis Prograis' arrest, and we'll see if they're going to actually issue that warrant. But if they actually do get in the ring, that's just another check for 2023 in regards to boxing being not one of the best year in boxing, in my opinion, ever.
Oh yeah, we still got other fights that come on that happen too.
Exactly.
So I mean, now let's talk about this. Let's say that fight doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think Regis will probably end up fighting his Mando, Sandor Martin. Mm-hmm. And Devin, I don't know what Devin's going to do. Unless he's going to.
That's part of the reason why I think he's going to make that fight, though. I know Tunnel Vision saying don't be shocked if he doesn't make that fight, but I kind of believe Devin's probably gonna make sure he makes that fight because, I mean, then you start getting the duck comments. I don't think he wants the duck comments.
Yeah. I think Devin needs to make this fight because he's not undisputed any longer. So he doesn't have that belt right now. It's going to be for Shakur, and he doesn't really want to fight Shakur, especially for what Shakur is wanting like a 50-50 or some type of deal like that, or a better deal than what he was initially given supposedly the 25%. But I think Devin has to make this fight. Otherwise, he's kind of stuck in a sense, But I still want to see the fight. I still want to see Devin fight Shakur. I think that's going to happen at 140, not at 135. But Devin and Regis, that'll be an interesting fight later this year. Hopefully, they go ahead and get everything signed and sealed, and they can deliver that fight to us in October or November.
I hope so.
When it happens.
It's definitely something that I'm interested in seeing, and it's something that they should make happen. Like I said, that'll be another feather in the cap for boxing in terms of it being the best year ever in the sport. And just to think of it, I mean, Jay, it was BOK Prime that we thought was going to deliver the best year in boxing for 2023. Isn't that amazing?
That's what they said, the biggest and best fights ever,
It was nice topic.
But yeah, I mean, since we still around that, that weight class 140, 135, Shakur versus Loma, it's a no-go. I'm not sure if Loma, what's going on in Ukraine, if that's impacting Loma's decision, or he's just making a business decision, high risk, low reward with fighting Shakur, since he can't fight just one fight for undisputed. What's your take on that?
I think it's a combination of all those things, to be quite honest with you. The whole war going on in Ukraine has to be taxing on Lomachenko to some extent, right? But I also feel that if that would have been Devin that he was getting right back in the ring with, I think he would have made the fight happen. I think Shakur is high risk, low reward, and he chose to just move on. I don't know if he's even interested in getting back in the ring if it's not for undisputed, because I think that's ultimately what was his goal. And if Devin Haney decides that he's not going to move back down fighting Shakur Stevenson, okay, then you got to fight everybody else to get the titles as well. So it's not a no. It's a no go. The fight's more than likely not going to happen. Actually, it's not going to happen because Bob Arum mentioned that it's not going to happen. And originally, Bob was saying that it was something about him just wanting to take some time off from boxing, but then later on he started throwing in the whole situation going on in Ukraine and all that stuff. So who knows? I think it's all of that stuff. We know that Isaac Cruz is not interested in making the fight.
He wants to pay that.
Shakur Stevenson, he's interested in going out of tank route. If you listen to Calvin Ford just a day or two ago said that he would, if he had to guess right now, to be Isaac Cruz, who would be Tank Davis' next opponent. And of course, Isaac Cruz is trying to position himself in order to get that payday. So I don't think it's going to be Isaac Cruz. Plus, he's already shut that notion down to fight Shakur Stevenson. So then you got William Zepeda. Oscar De La Hoya has already said, no, we don't want to do that. We're not interested in doing that. It's not the right time. He's not ready. Whatever it was that he said. So William Zepeda is off. And I think, isn't William Zepeda already signed up for a fight?
Yeah, his fight just got signed. I forget who he's fighting. I want to say he might be fighting in September. But yeah, William Zepeda is fighting someone, I want to say next month.
Let me just pull that up real quick. So William Zepeda, 28-0, is fighting Jamie Arboleda. Arboleda. 19-2, College Park Center, Arlington. And that is going to be, no, that just passed. Sorry, that just passed. That's already happened. So no, he's not signed to fight anyone.
What?
Yeah, this is April 29, 2023, unless BoxRec hasn't already captured that. I don't see it.
Yeah, I thought for sure he said something, but you never know what Oscar was trying to hold on, because we know Oscar was the reason that Shakur didn't fight Zepeda.
Yeah. But anyway, let's give NHA Tube Salute $5. Tank got a warrant out for Cruz, even though he's not wanted. Nice. But yeah, so with Cruz out, with Zepeda out, man, look that up. Google that, because I thought I saw Zepeda was signed or had a fight.
He is. Planet 619 said he's set to fight Mercedes Jesta.
Okay, like I
know
I know I saw a fight for him somewhere.
Appreciate that.
So with those two gentlemen out, Zepeda, and Cruz. The next man in line is Frank Martin.
Yep.
The Ghost. Now, we know that Errol Spence said that they were willing to put the Ghost in the ring with Shakur Stevenson. Personally, I think it's too soon based off of his last performance. But I wonder if they're going to make that fight. I would love to see that fight, number one, because I think Frank Martin brings a level of skill to the ring that would test Shakur Stevenson. And I would like to see how those styles would mesh in the ring. Frank is a pretty solid guy in terms of just frame and physicality. And he's Frank is sizey. He's not the tallest guy in the division, but he's sizey. And Shakur, with the skill level that he brings to the ring, it would be a really, really interesting fight and another opportunity for Shakur to make a stamp on the division. I think that's the type of name that he needs on his resume in the division, where you can just say, listen, I won the WBC title. I took out Frank Martin. Is he the biggest name in the division? No, but he's a solid name in the division, and a lot of people are high on Frank Martin. So I would love to see him in the ring with Frank Martin, get that opportunity to beat Frank Martin. But I would also like to see Frank Martin get the opportunity to test Shakur Stevenson. He's been calling these fighters out. These are the fights that he wants. He mentioned Tank. He mentioned Shakur. And for whatever reason, the Davis kid, he mentions himself. But Keyshawn. But at the end of the day, I think this will be an interesting fight. And I think this is probably what's going to materialize based off of what we know today.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I mean, now if Frank, somehow decides not to take this fight, got to look at Frank sideways, because this is an opportunity for him. He called out, he wanted, and this is an opportunity to get a belt. And you'd be in line if Devin does come back down to 135 for the defend those other 3 titles, to gain his title back, to be undisputed again. That's your shot right there. So I mean, I'll be intrigued to see that fight. I'm definitely leaning towards Shakur in that fight. I just think Shakur has a better skill set, more battle tested overall. Not necessarily at 135, but that'd be a hell of a fight. That'd be what I want to see. And Shakur did mention about Navarrete when they asked him. He posted on Twitter about that he'll be down to fight Navarrete once he gets his belt, but they have to be at a catch weight. We all know Shakur can't make 130 because that's where he lost his belts on. He lost his belts on the scale at 130. So it'll be interesting. I wouldn't want to see that fight, him versus Navarrete. I just think he out skills Navarrete because he's wild, and I think Shakur be calm, cool, and collected and calculated enough to beat Navarrete to a decision by decision on that one. Navarrete definitely has a puncher's chance the way he throws his wild and awkward punches, but he throws a lot of off balance shots and things of that nature there. But he's tough as shit though. Although against Liam Smith, I believe it was Liam Smith he fought before this fight here. I think it was Liam Smith. When Liam Smith dropped him and he had like a 20 or 25 second count. I was kind of questionable on that. He came back and took care of him, but
who are you talking
he could have
about?
lost that fight. Navarrete's last fight.
Isn't Liam Smith like a 160 pounder?
It was Liam Smith. Was it Liam Smith? It was Liam Williams. I got it. Let me find it.
Yeah, that's where you losing me with the Liam Smith. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's like at middleweight.
It was Liam Walsh.
Either middle or super middleweight. But anyway.
Yeah, it was Liam something.
Anyway.
Right there. But yeah. But 135 is going to be interesting to see what happens with Shakur. Hopefully they can get that fight probably in November. Probably November, I would probably say for now. They got time still to make that, unless it's going to be on the undercard if there's a rematch of Spence versus Bud.
Yep. So what's the next topic, man? Before we move on, we got 103 people in the building, 44 likes. If you get the opportunity, please smash that like button. It helps people find the content. And if you're new to the channel, this is AM Sports Media, the Angry Man Podcast. We'll always drop
Wilson.
content.
That was the last name. Shit.
Dude, what are you doing? Don't forget to. I forgot what I was saying.
My bad. I just frustrated with the last name on there. It was Wilson.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, Jay, you off your game today. So what's next?
So let's talk about Benavidez and Boo Boo. What's gonna happen with that Supposedly, Dave Benavidez said they're possibly fighting in November, possibly, because he said
I don't know.
he backed out already.
Yeah, I don't know. Fights are discussed all the time, and fights don't end up materializing. I think Andrade will probably take that fight just because he needs to get a name on his resume. He's been wanting to get in the ring with some of the top fighters for a while and hasn't had the opportunity to do so. I think David Benavidez is honestly looking for a stay busy fight, and a fighter like Boo Boo, who has, I don't know, not necessarily a similar style, but approaches the fight game in a similar manner as Caleb Plant, make it a good fight. I mean, even in the interview that he had, he was basically saying that he thought that the fight would be similar to Plant in the sense that, he'd be moving around. He'd have to walk him down. Eventually, he'd get stronger and stronger and stronger as the fight goes on, and then he'll get the opportunity to start landing his shots in the middle and the back half of the fight. So I know he was initially, a few months ago, they were saying that he was going to get in the ring with David Morrell. That obviously didn't pan out. I thought that fight was a little bit too soon. And I'm glad that they are not going to go through with that fight, because I think that's a fight that can make a lot of money if you wait a little bit. Benavidez is clearly frustrated about the whole Canelo situation, saying that he's been his mandatory now for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years or something like that. And I think that's more than likely correct. Probably shocked that that Canelo signed that 3-fight deal, and that not only was it not Benavidez that's getting the opportunity, but it's Jermell Charlo. And from what was it, Eddie Reynoso that mentioned that the plan is to fight Jermell and then Jermall.
Yep.
So that's an interesting
Don't want
position.
that.
So yeah, I mean, like, what's the point in that? Fighting Jermell, then Jermall. Like, fight Jermell, then go fight Benavidez and fight someone else. But I don't know. I think Canelo Alvarez is another fighter that's looking for the biggest possible payday for the lowest risk. I think that's Canelo all day, in my opinion.
No, I agree, because the fight I wanted for Canelo was Benavidez. That's all I think most people wanted was Benavidez. Not saying I favor Benavidez to beat Canelo, but I think that's the toughest matchup for him. I think Mel's going to do what he got to do come September 30th and give it his all. And Mel's a former opponent, but he's never been at that weight. So for them to say that they're going to fight the twins back to back, fighting Maul hadn't been in a ring in 2 years. It's just crazy that someone would want to fight him still at that caliber. Like he's a threat, right now. Let him get a couple fights in so he can show that he's back. He's tip top. Right now, that's just, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Because Maul, we thought Maul was gonna fight someone, but we thought he may have been fighting Boo Boo. But Maul has a lot of stuff going on, so we'll see about that. I think the one that's getting shafted out of everybody is David. David Benavidez is one that's getting screwed over. That's the thing I don't like. So,
BL mentioned you. Jay Canelo wants no part of Benavidez. Canelo signed that PBC contract and was laughing like payday. Oh, he wants payday? I know that.
Yeah, man. I mean, Benavidez been Canelo mandatory for 3 years now at various weights. Same thing with Boo Boo. Boo Boo's been his mandatory.
Yeah, that was that.
So I mean, I don't like that at all. So.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. Like I said, man, Canelo does Canelo things. I don't think he's necessarily interested in the toughest fights. He's interested in the fights that are going to make the biggest payday, while maximizing his legacy and completely minimizing his risk. So, legacy-defining fights like moving up to 175 pounds, and see if you can actually become undisputed there, because there's a couple of champions that appear to be weak, and so you took one of them out, and then the other one didn't go so well for you. There's another undisputed champion that I feel is doing some similar stuff here, but we'll probably get to that later.
Yeah, so there was a heavyweight championship fight on the docket last night with AJ and Robert Helenius. AJ won by a knockout in the 7th round, caught him with the right Dropped him. Wasn't as fast as Deontay. We all know Deontay fought Robert Hernandez earlier this year. Beat him in one round, first round, with only landing 3 punches. But there's someone I was missing during this fight week. Noticeably, for me, it was Derrick James. I was expecting him to have a lot more questions asked of him, and to be in the spotlight a lot more. So what gives? Where's DJ at?
Man, I was thinking about DJ earlier today, and it's almost like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Do you guys remember that game which I used to play it back in the day, trying to find the clues that would take you to where Carmen Sandiego was? Well, I feel the same way about Derrick James. Where in the world is Derrick James? You would have thought he would have been much more available to the media during this whole week, because his fighter, one of the biggest names in the heavyweight division, Anthony Joshua, was on the docket. And we saw him at the press conferences. He was on the stage. He answered questions that were directed at him specifically towards this fight. But, if he would have done any kind of outlets that were not tied to Showtime specifically, they're going to ask him, hey, what the hell went wrong with Errol Spence? And I think probably he is purposely making himself unavailable because he doesn't want to answer those damn questions. I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, this Negro been MIA.
Yeah, he's been gone for sure. I know he's been busy training. He got 2 fights, coming up. Well, now he has one more fight coming up with that's definitely signed, sealed, and about to be delivered on September 30th by having to train Jamel Charlo. But I mean, I figured reporters would have been asking him questions, about, his fight with AJ, his fight with Mel, and of course, the prior fight with Spence and Bud. That would have been a pressing question. I thought a lot of people would have asked him, like, hey, so what's going on? Y'all, what's y'all talking? What's going on? At least the very least ask him, so the rematch happening, and he could have been like, that's on Errol. Errol's gonna let us know soon or whatever. But yeah, I know it's just been strange. I expected him to say something, or be at least ask more stuff. I don't know if it's on him or if it's on the media that was available to ask questions. They didn't ask him any questions about, hell, they didn't ask him any other questions. So maybe it's respectful that they just kept it strictly about his fight that he was training for, which was with AJ, the fight Hernandez. So maybe they did it like that.
Yeah, I don't give a damn what they did and what they were trying to be respectful for. I want to hear from DJ. I don't give a shit if they're trying to be respectful. Forgive my language, but we need answers. Not to say that we are owed any answers, but it would be interesting just to hear like what went. He doesn't have to go into specifics, just maybe a little bit of detail about what might have gone wrong in that fight. People are gonna ask you, "Hey man, Errol didn't look right. What's going on?" Hey, I don't know. He was doing, what's that dude, Mark, whatever his name was. I saw him. I saw DJ. It had to at least been about 20 damn videos before the fight, like the last week of the fight, right before the fight, like 20 damn videos with DJ, and then now nothing, blanks, period, crickets. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
we need to hear something from you. So, no, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, now he can focus strictly on Mel versus Canelo, and I'm quite sure with this fight being as big as this fight is going to be, undisputed versus undisputed, he's going to get a lot of questions about everything. Whenever they have some type of stuff coming up. So
hey, listen to Mr. Mike. Team Crawford outthought Team Spence and won. What else is there to say? What answers, bro? What would DJ say? Dog, why?
Hey, we just keeping 100. We just keeping it 100 because if the other way around, people be asking what other trainer was out or the fighter was out. We know where Spence is at. Spence is on vacation. He's posting pictures and whatnot, stuff like that. We just keeping it buck.
Mr. Mike, I don't disagree that I think Terence Crawford outperformed Errol Spence in that fight, but Errol looked bad, man. That wasn't the same Errol we saw in the past. That's what people are gonna ask him. Period. But anyway, I like that. I like that comment though. I like that. Jay, what's the next topic, man? We 35 minutes in.
So along those lines, about Spence having something wrong with him. Floyd double downs about Spence being dehydrated.
Yeah, man.
What's your take on that?
He right. Nah, I mean, so from my understanding, Floyd went over to the announcers after the second round and said that Errol Spence is dehydrated. And before the fight even started, there were people on our live stream, go check it out, saying something doesn't look right by Errol. This is before the fight started. So yeah, I mean, Floyd. Now, here's the thing. What's so interesting is that, you know, certain people they harp on certain things that Floyd said in the past, talking about, oh, Floyd is part of BBC, and he said that the fight wasn't going to happen, and so forth and so on, which Floyd actually said that it would end up taking place later, but that was already after we had found out that the fight was fizzling. But people forget to mention that part. But now with Floyd coming in, but they grasp on that, but because this part doesn't fit their narrative, and now it's like Floyd don't know what he's talking about. Like, Floyd's making excuses. I mean, Floyd is a professional fighter, right? I mean, he was a professional fighter, did it at the most elite level, has seen everything in the sport, and he's coming in telling us that Errol Spence needs to fight at 160 or 168. So what else is that telling you? He was dehydrated. That wasn't the same Errol Spence we saw. Now, I thought it was interesting that he didn't use the guy, what's his name, Blu-ray of Blu-ray Fitness, I believe that's his name, for this particular fight. I'm trying to remember. He was supposed to use him for, I think he trained him for Manny Pacquiao, and also trained him for Ugas, but for some reason he went with somebody different this time. So I don't know what happened. But yeah, well, I know what I was told happened. But at the end of the day, I wasn't there, so I don't know specifically what happened. But yeah, Mayweather said he looked dehydrated, bruh. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, a lot of fighters said that as well. And this is not to say Bud wasn't going to win, couldn't win, still win the fight. This could say that it could definitely been a more competitive fight than what it was. So I mean, that's what we're saying. So get out your feelings. We're not saying this is the only reason Spence lost, because Bud was phenomenal in that fight. He took Spence jab away. He counterpunched Spence all night. Spence kept his head on the line. Spence was noticeably not as strong as Bud. Bud's strong as an ox anyway, but to be tossed like that, that's crazy as well. But y'all are just tripping. Just because we say that he looked dehydrated, we're saying like we're crazy. We're not saying that he would have won the fight if he had been up to snuff. We're just saying it could have been a more competitive fight.
Yeah. So correction by the chat. So he didn't use Blu-ray for Ugas either. Yeah, I was trying to remember. I know he used them for Manny. I couldn't remember if it was Ugas or not. And I know for a fact he didn't use them in this past camp. Let's see who else said something. Where did I see that? RSV, it tells you he'd been weight bullying for years. And then let me see what else he said. AM Media Goofies. Yeah. I tell you, man, when
emotional, boy.
It's like, I swear some of you dudes are like 15-year-old girls.
Emotional damage.
Let's see what else we got here.
Let's keep them emotional with it, man. So I mean, that's what Floyd take on that. Now, speaking of Floyd and the whole Bud, Charles Wilson, Spence ain't my hero. He got beat. He got dominated by Bud. We've said that several times. That's well, I tell you. But anyway, so I guarantee you some of these Bud fans are going to say, try to go along with Tim Bradley saying that Bud would beat Floyd as well. And Leonard Ellerbe addressed that saying, nope.
Yeah. Of course, Leonard is going to come to the defense of Floyd Mayweather, right? Just because that's his guy.
Got to. Yeah.
But as I mentioned before, recency bias, man. That's just what it is. Everything is recency bias. And whatever you've seen today is always the latest and greatest of all time. And it's just what it is. Now, Floyd isn't that long ago. And it's clear to me that fight would be completely, you're talking about, you're now in the ring with another master boxer. Not just a master boxer, but has an elite IQ, superhuman reflexes and speed, as well as one of the top defenses in the history of the sport. So it's a completely different fight. So yeah, I mean, he did what he did to Errol, and I give him kudos for that because I think he brought skills to the ring that Errol was not able to deal with in that fight. Now, part of it, like I said, part of that looks like, it could have been weight drain because Errol didn't look right. But some of the mistakes that Errol was making in the ring as well contributed to him losing that fight. And I don't want to lose focus on that. But, yeah, at the end of the day, Floyd is a completely different animal. One of the best fighters we've seen of all time. And to say that Terence Crawford will just you're that confident that he's gonna beat Floyd Mayweather, but you're willing to say that a fight is 50-50 between Errol and Crawford, but then you're so definitive in Terence Crawford will beat Floyd Mayweather, one of the best fighters of all time. Stop it.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, the thing is, let me put it to like everyone like this: if Spence had been the one that won in this dominant fashion, I would say the same thing. Spence ain't touching Floyd. I don't see anyone touching Floyd just because of the type of fighter Floyd was. Now, is Bud the best of his era? By far, he is. Easily. But the way people try to talk about Spence with this loss here, Bud can be all the way up here, and Spence could be a distant second and still be clearly better than everyone else. That's not bad. Losing to the best person in your best fighter in your era, although I hate losing, but it's still the second best in your era at 147. See what he does when he comes back. But for people just all of a sudden to say Bud would beat Floyd and all this stuff here so easily, I just laugh at it. And I understand why Bud says it. You're a fighter. You're supposed to say you can beat everyone in and around your weight class. You're supposed to say that. But the fans that are just saying this stuff are just tripping to me. The people, a lot of these fans here only know Money Mayweather. They don't know nothing about Pretty Boy Floyd.
What is so? You must have gave Terence Crawford some love in that comment or those comments that you just made, because Mark M saying Jason exactly. He doesn't agree with anything unless you nut hugging Terence Crawford. So, what did you say about Crawford? You must have said he was a god, because I didn't hear.
No, I just said Bud's the best of his era right now.
Yeah.
That's easily said. He's number one. That. But I also said that it's nothing wrong with if Spence is number two and he lost to the best of his era. Spence doesn't suck all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And just little cute emotional shit like King K over here. It's just sad. It's just sad.
What's that? I'm sorry.
It's just sad with people like King K that use the little nicknames and aerosexual stuff like that. I'm a fan of boxing first and foremost. That's why we're able to give Bud his props. We can say Bud's the best of his era. We picked Spence to beat Bud. Bud won in dominant fashion. Bud was also the favorite. So we picked the underdog lost. Okay. And that's no sweat on my back. But still a great fight. This is what I want to see. I want to see Bud against someone I felt was elite, which was Spence. And he dominated Spence, so he's the best of his era. So,
yeah, what if Mel beat Canelo and becomes a two-weight class undisputed champion?
They're not going to give Mel his credit.
I mean, but when you have to put Mel in the at least top three, if not like pound for pound, because he would have beaten another similar to Terence Crawford, he would have beaten another pound for pound fighter, and a pound for pound fighter that at one point was actually the pound for pound fighter in the sport. Like where would that where would Mel? I know this is off topic, but where would Mel end up there? Would you put him pound for pound number one at that point? I mean, he got the same accolades as Terence Crawford at that point, right?
Yeah.
Or similar accolades, not necessarily the same.
He'll have similar accolades to Terence Crawford, but depends on what people see Canelo as right now. You know, because people saw Spence. Well, people saw Spence before this fight as a top 5 fighter. After the fight, the Bud fans saying he sucks and all this stuff, so they're discrediting Bud's win. Not all Bud fans, some of the Bud fans. Some of the Bud fans are discrediting Spence as a top 5 fighter. top two in his division.
Yeah.
But Canelo, it probably wouldn't be the same because they'll say Canelo is older as far as rings, as far as fights, not as far as age, because they're the same age. Mel and Canelo are both 33, I believe. But as far as what they've done, Canelo's not the top 5 right now for the most part.
Says who?
Top 5?
What ESPN got him ranked?
ESPN, man.
I know ESPN like the Bible.
It's ESPN. So I mean, but now the thing is, I would put it close up there because Mel is the underdog in this one, and Spence versus Bud was the favorite. You know, now if Mel goes in there, and dominates Canelo like Bud did Spence, it's going to be close. Then we'll see. Hopefully, then they might get it on. They might get a fight on. You know, later on, especially if Mel comes back down. But we'll see.
Man, what Terence talking about?
It's going to be great.
I'm so tired of people in the comment section and people in the chats talking about Greg. Stop it. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. What did I say that was so wrong? They will have a similar resume at the point both would be 2-time undisputed champions at 2 different weight classes, except one won the second one as the favorite, and the second one will be winning it as the underdog. Now, personally, and maybe I'm disclosing my pick a little bit too soon, maybe I might change it. I don't know. I got to see everything that leads up to the fight. But right now, I don't think Mel is going to beat Canelo. I don't have that happening. So, but if he does, he's in your top 3. I don't give a damn what nobody in the chat says. He's in your top 3 if he does that.
Gotta be.
What you talking about? He isn't.
The fight.
He isn't ranked by who? By who? Best videos? By who?
ESPN.
Exactly.
That's who. It's ESPN.
Exactly. ESPN is wrong. So I don't care. He jumps into my top 3, and he should be in most people's top 3 if he goes up there and beat Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, with that accomplishment, he should be. He should be. The thing is, people are getting confused with saying he's in the top 3, top 5, and saying, "Oh, he's gonna be better." He's better than Terence Crawford. No, he's putting his resume was very comparable from what he did jumping 2 weight classes to fight Canelo.
Hey, listen. It doesn't even matter. No matter what, he goes up and beat Canelo Alvarez. I'm putting him ahead, but
Terrence best video he's using Ring Magazine as a barometer.
I don't give a damn if it's Ring Magazine, ESPN. He will be the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the sport, and I will move Bud to number 2.
Oh my God. Hey, BL, you got a point there. You got a point on that one. Facts.
Hey, it's not, man, I'm not talking about talented as Bud. I don't care if he is talented as Bud.
God.
That's your eye test. I mean, if he goes up and beat Canelo Alvarez, if he jumps 2 weight classes and beat Canelo Alvarez, he has to be as talented as Bud. He has to be. And if then Bud should go up there and fight Canelo Alvarez, and that might be a good segue into some of the next comments or topics that we have. But before then, we got 144 people in the building, 70 likes. If you get the opportunity, please hit the like button or the dislike button if you don't like the content, but make sure you are engaging. If this is your first time on the channel, this is AM Sports Media, the Angry Man Podcast. I personally feel is one of the best produced podcasts relative to boxing on YouTube. You may feel differently, but join us. We put together a lot of different content, whether it's video clips, fight breakdowns, documentaries, you name it, we do it here. Hit that subscribe button and join the family. All right, Jay, where do we go from here?
One more thing as far as regarding Bud. So Bud, one or two things that Bud did, one of his interviews, many interviews he did this week, where he was asked about,
he is everywhere,
Canelo.
Right? I can't fucking escape him anymore, man. God, I'm tired of seeing him.
It's amazing what happens when you have a good promotional company behind you, getting you in places, and then your talent allows your talent to shine, and you handle your business, and they handle their business for you as well. Amazing how that works. It's like a beautiful marriage, right?
I know.
But so Bud would entertain a fight with Tank. Although he did say that Tank would be, if he beat him, he wouldn't get the credit because Tank would be a small guy. He also said he'd entertain a fight with Canelo at a catch at 158. Then he said maybe 160. But he never said he would entertain a fight with Boots at 147.
Not Boots. No, not him. So
now, mind you, the fight with Tank would be at 147 too.
This is what's funny to me, dog. And this is the stuff that really makes no freaking sense to me, yet people try to use this baffling logic. So somebody who follows the channel was texting me earlier today, and he was so stuck on IBF route, WBO route. Jaron had the opportunity to fight Terence Crawford back in January, which I do not believe that whatsoever. That was a last-ditch effort by BLK Prime to just be in the good graces of Terence Crawford and or sign Jaron Ennis. That's what they were trying to do. So he'll say that so he had his opportunity to fight him back then. He should have fought him. But then in the same breath says that Boots Ennis doesn't bring anything to the table for him to fight him. So if he doesn't bring anything to the table for him to fight him, then of course he wouldn't have fought him back in January or today. Nothing's changed since then. Nothing's changed since then relative to Boots Ennis. So he was never, if he wasn't going to fight him today because it's not worth it, he wasn't going to fight him back then. It like just the logic of some of these guys make absolutely no sense whatsoever. And this is part of the reason why I make some of the comments that I make in regards to Terence Crawford. Let me preface these comments by saying he is the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world right now. He is the best fighter of the era right now if Errol Spence cannot come back and defeat him, or if he moves up and loses to someone like Jermell Charlo, because all of those two things could affect whether or not he's the best fighter of this era. He's all those things. But he's also, in my opinion, someone who tries to control the narrative through his fans. He is someone that looks for opportunities to improve his legacy, but he's also trying to minimize the risk associated with it as well, constantly. And I think that's what he's doing today. It's like if he would have, if Charlemagne would have asked him about Gervonta Davis and he repeated what he said earlier, hey man, he's too small, and left it at that, cool. I have nothing to say about it. If he is hell-bent on moving up to 154 pounds and 147 is an issue for him to make, and he really wants Jermell Charlo, that's his ultimate goal, fine. I have no problem with that. That makes sense to me. But if you're willing to stay at 147 to fight Tank, but you won't stay at 147 to fight Boots, it's about money. Money. That's it. And then you mentioned Canelo Alvarez and the opportunity to fight him, but you'll do it at 158 for a guy that's been fighting for the last several fights at 168 and 175. That tells me also that you want the most money for the least amount of risk. And that's how I get to the conclusions that I get to. And I think my rationale for how I got to that conclusion is fine. So I've always, those are the issues that I've had with Terence Crawford. If he's going to stick around 147, I would love to see him in the ring with Boots. I do not want to see him in the ring with Gervonta Davis because he's too small. He's going to be moving up two weight classes in one leap. And he's already a shorter guy as is. So, no, I don't want to see that fight. I want to see Terence Crawford challenged. If he's the best fighter of this generation, we like to see the best fighters challenged. This is the only sport where the fans don't actually always want the best fighters to fight the best fighters and come up with excuses why the best fighters shouldn't fight the best fighters. You never hear fans of football saying, you know, the two best teams, you know, the Patriots and whoever, let's call it the Dallas Cowboys, whoever it is that year, shouldn't play each other because one fan doesn't want their team to lose to that particular team. Like it's nuts. But boxing is like I'll make all the excuses in the world. Like, who is this guy fought? Why should he fight this fighter? Because he hasn't fought this guy. But then fighter 1, 2, and 3 who are scrubs got the opportunity to fight that guy. I mean, it's just the strangest sport to me. And I think a lot of fighters, to a certain degree, they play off some of the just the absurdity of the sport. And I think Terence Crawford is a part of that. I think he does that sometimes. Not that he does it all the time. Not that he's a scary fighter or anything like that, because I don't think he's scared of anybody. But he is someone that looks for minimal risk. It's what it is. Maximum dollar, minimal risk. That's what he looks for. It is what it is.
I mean, if he's just going for the money, I understand fighting Tank. I understand trying to get Canelo to go down in weight, but the thing is with Canelo, that's not happening because Canelo is the A side against any fighter he fights right now. He's going to control everything. He's not going to come down to 160, 158 or anything like that where he would feel like he's be at a disadvantage to be weight drained. Anything below 168. He's not going to go below that. Now, as far as if Bud stays at 147, if it wasn't for the money, the best fight for him at 147 is Boots. Point blank, period. That's the best fight for him at 147. Y'all can't say anything other than that. No other fight is better than that at 147.
I agree. Let's acknowledge Ray Sanders a second, because everything that we've always said has been with the caveat of if Spence doesn't rematch him. But Bud said if he goes up to 154, he's not coming back down to 147. So if he gives Spence the rematch at 154, any fights at 147 are out the window, which is fine. But he's still perfectly willing to face Canelo at 158. At basically middleweight that he hasn't fought at since 2016.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
So, I mean,
come on.
I mean, the thing is, it's like I get the thing that kind of with Bud, one minute he says it's about money, and then money's about chasing legacy and history. Because that's why he said he wanted Jamel Charlo. So he said that'd be some legendary shit.
It would be.
But he also said it's about money. So I get it, but it just sucks. If you're staying at 147, I don't feel like he should fight anyone else. I don't think he should fight a Tank. And Tank also said he was joking and he said he was fucking around in that clip, because that was a clip from last year that Chicken Talk did in the Spaces with Tank Davis. So that's an old clip that just started back circulating. But I just if Bud wanted money, he controls all the pieces on the board at 147. That's easy for him. But if he stays at 147, I feel like he should fight Boots.
Let me address some of this stuff in the chat. I don't know how many damn times I have to give Terence Crawford his respect. I just did. I literally just said he's the best fighter in the sport, King Art. He's the best fighter of this generation, King Art. But I don't agree with everything he does. And that's okay. Greatest thinker. For Greg to say Bud picks and chooses, shake my head. At this point of his career, he deserves the money, 2 times undisputed. He deserves the money. I agree. For the risk. He's trying to get the money and de-risk it. He wants the biggest bag, but the biggest bag is against, well, number one, a fighter that's much smaller than him. I'm not feeling that. He wants to bring a big fighter down to 158 and basically drain him. I'm not feeling that. So yeah, I've given him his props, but I'm not gonna ride his nuts. Damn. Go ahead, bruh.
Now, see, if I'm Bud, the way I would have, if I'm Bud, the way I would answer, I'm like, whether I knew when Tank said that, if I heard the full soundbite of what Tank said, I'd have said he's supposed to feel that way. He's a fighter. He's too small. He's at 135. Initially, now when Bud first mentioned it, I want to say a week before that, he was like, their weight classes for a reason. And he left it at that. But when he expanded on it, it made him look like I fight Tank, but I wouldn't fight Boots. And it makes it look kind of cloudy, would you say? But I mean, if he stays at 147, I feel Boots should be the person he fight. I know it's not the money fight, but I feel that's the fight. That's the best fight at 147 from a Spence perspective and a talent perspective for Bud right now. He says he really has a hard time making 147 anyway, so he should go up to 154. Go ahead, go up 154 and take out Tim Tszyu. That'd be real easy for him.
King Art say I ride Errol. We don't ride Errol Spence. We don't ride Errol Spence. I mean, what are you talking about? We literally basically said Errol didn't do what he needed to do in camp. I mean, 2 things can be true, guys. I don't know why it's just so difficult to understand or believe that. Let's see what is going on. Spence fought Mikey. You had no problem with that. No, I'm. What are you comparing?
Greatest thinker. Yeah.
Because Mikey came up from 140. Now he didn't jump from 35 to 47. He came from 40, then 47. That's number one. Number two, yeah, I ain't got no problem with that because it's Errol Spence. Next. I'm joking, man. I'm joking.
Hey, great. The funny thing about it, the people that don't know that clip, the full story of that clip with Tank saying that he'll knock Bud out in 6th round, they don't know the full clip. Like greatest thinker. Oh no, Tank said this. Y'all don't.
Yeah, that was taken out.
You had to be there. Put it to like
that.
I
guess so. You had to be there. You had to be there. Man, let me go ahead and open up these phone lines, man, so some of these Terence Crawford fans can call in here and harass us, man, for no doggone reason. Let's see here. The phone lines are open.
Too funny, man.
I don't get it, man.
Too funny. We say his best opposition if he stays at 147 would be Boots. Oh, y'all hating. He should fight Tank. Boots don't bring nothing. Boots don't bring nothing. I get it from a monetary standpoint. No, he doesn't. Not compared to Tank or Canelo. But as far as a challenge and what will be a better matchup would be Boots.
Oh, wait, man. We got my boy FSU Wall calling in. Can you hear it ringing, Jason?
Yeah,
FSU Wall is in the building. What's going on with you, bro?
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? Happy Sunday.
Same to you.
What's going on, Walt?
I can understand Terrence's point for this, right? Because the brother is going to be 36 years old, so I can understand him trying to get the bag against Canelo. But the Tank fight, come on, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't understand how Terence Crawford's fans can be like, oh, he doesn't have to fight Boots, but it was cool with him fighting David, the Uber driver? Was Averisian or whatever his name was? So it's like, it's just confusing. It's like, you got to understand this. Right now, he's not going to get Jamel. Jamel's not coming back down, win or lose. So I guarantee if he stays at 147, he's going to fight. Yeah, what's that boy's name? The light-skinned brother. Who hasn't fought in a while. I can't. Thurman. He's not going to fight Boots because he got it. Boots is just as bigger than him, just as fast, but faster than him, and he fights like him. So it is, like y'all said, it's a really, really big risk. It's just like people say what they really mean when they say it. It's like, because he's telling you he'll fight these other dudes, but he won't fight the dude with the risk. It's just like Lomachenko with Devin Haney. Lomachenko will fight Devin Haney, but he won't take the risk with Shakur. He's going to Ukraine for some arm and out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And y'all got to know this, right, by what people say when it comes to Shakur. Everybody that's at the top doesn't want to fight Shakur. The dude that wants to fight him is the Dominican dude, but really the Dominican dude only wants to fight Shakur because it will get his name out there. It's like, so, and that's it. Shakur will wipe that dude. Shakur will wipe Navarrete. Shakur Devin is a 10-2, 9-3 fight. Shakur's only really big challenge is going to be Tank. You know what I'm saying? And just like right now, Crawford's only really challenge to me is Boots.
I agree.
Because Jamel's not coming back. You can't. You see how big Jamel is. You do that to your body like that, he's not going to be the same.
Nope.
So, but yo, Greg, we're a couple weeks away.
Yeah, man.
We so good, they putting us on a Monday night, Greg.
We're going to whoop these boys.
Monday night. Y'all are playing. Why we're playing LSU while y'all are playing Crabapple State.
See, Walt, I was chilling, Walt. I was letting you get it out the chest.
Y'all have a great one, man.
Happy Sunday and
Take care.
Here you go,
Walt.
later.
Oh, man. Walton killed them one, boy. Nose, boy. Going down. But, yeah, man, I don't begrudge Terence Crawford for going for that money. At 35 years old, about to be 36, he needs to solidify himself financially. And fights like Canelo Alvarez and even Gervonta Davis would do that. But my problem is that you're de-risking that, right? Like, if you want to just get that payday for Canelo, then move your ass up to 168 and fight him. Start or catch weight that's reasonable. Like if if you said, "Hey, Canelo, you're a little big, like put a catch weight 164," I would be like, okay, Bud small. That's actually still kind of taking a risk, letting Canelo come in at 164. Okay, man, he talking about the man drained it down to 158. Come on, bruh. Stop it. I can't do that, bruh.
It's crazy. The thing is, what's funny is the fact that I'm not talking about anything about which one is the most money out of the three, Canelo, Tank, or Boots. We know Boots gives him the least amount of money, but if he's at 147, that's his mandatory. That's the best fight for him. Versus instead of bringing Tank up or anything like that. And plus, that was a joke about Tank. Calvin Floyd already debunked that about Tank moving up to 147, anything like that. Canelo's not coming down to 158 or 160. Canelo's always going to control all the chips on the board because he's the A-side versus any fighter right now. So that's why I'm like, outside of this rematch with Spence, the only other thing is Bud stays at 147 would be Boots. It won't be the best money, no.
Yo, this dude, great thinker, boy. Hey man, he is throwing some good ones out there. Y'all searching for a new hero. Boots, come save us.
Greg, the thing about what's funny about that is I literally said I'm not picking Boots to beat Bud. I'm picking Bud to beat Boots on that.
Oh man.
But it don't matter. They hear whatever and they take it however they want. So
Greg had no problem with Tank bringing Ryan down to 136, but got a problem with Bud. Man, Ryan is at number one. Ryan is at 140, right? Ryan was at
also,
and he was at 135. The fight before that, he was at 135.
Both fights, Ryan never fought. Ryan never. Really
yeah, but it was a 140 limit. It was a 140 limit though.
Yeah, it was initially 135. The dude couldn't make weight, so that's why they moved to 140.
That's fine. So at the end of the day, he was in and around that weight class. You're asking a guy to come down 2 weight classes. It's not the same thing, bruh. Salute Brandon House. What's going on with you? Yeah, the catch weight, man, 164 is more reasonable. Like, you want the man to actually be able to do something that he can come in at and not come in basically sick. But, I mean, Terence Crawford, they probably want that. Shoes versus Lisp, but I guess that's supposed to be Keith Thurman.
Yeah, I mean, anyway. Brenda got a point. Canelo only does catch weights typically. But the catch weight is usually in his favor, though, Brenda. If he's going to do a catch weight, he's going to do a catch weight with someone that's like Bivol, and he'll make him come down to 170.
Man, Brenda know that. You think like Brenda don't know that? Brenda's an avid boxer.
She knows that.
She knows that. 901, you in the building with the Angry Man Podcast. What's going on with you?
Good. Hey, Greg and Jason, this is Santos from New England. How y'all doing today?
Hey, man, how you doing, Santos?
What's going on, Santos?
I'm good, man. I'm still licking my wounds from 729. I think I told y'all I was definitely with Spence. One, I just want to shout out to the channel. I really appreciate y'all. The day after, Greg, you had that early call in, and that was we needed that, man. We needed that. So with Spence and Bud, something I've been thinking about is just how any elite champion, how they respond back to a loss. So that's just something, I've been thinking about. The build up to that, to me, these two men were so classic. It was, I don't know if you remember with Biggie and Tupac, man, it was like East Coast, West Coast with this fight. And I like how they tempered the emotions and sort of really brought us back to what it is. You can have these two men who can go after legacy, go after the check, and then still have some sort of rapport with each other. So I thought that was cool. So for me, I've been trying to chill. I love Spence, but okay, my guy lost. I've jumped on different Bud channels just to try to, I give them respect, but that doesn't mean that I don't know anything about boxing now. Just because, hey, my guy lost. It's part of it. Yeah. So just a question with that is, kind of jumping around here. I respect that Bud won, but does that mean now that when did he become the face or the moneymaker now? I mean, right?
No.
Up to this point, I mean, his pay-per-views weren't really doing too well. So I think it shows that how the promotion should have been more for him when he was at top rank and he wasn't getting that. So I just thought that was interesting.
I agree with that. Now, that's one thing I would say. So a lot of people want to come on and talk about how Al Heyman was the issue with this fight being made, and they're using, I think, the Breakfast Club interview to try to say that we're
yes, they are. Yep.
Portway podcast maybe, but he was basically saying though that it wasn't Al's fault. Al's gonna if you come over and be his champion, but he also said Bob Arum was doing the same thing and that all of it was just business. But if you look at Terence Crawford today, his face is everywhere. Every time I turn around, his face.
It is, yeah.
So that tells me that, number one, he has the right people around him now, which is PBC.
Yeah.
And that Terence Crawford has learned that he has to get his ass out there and talk. Now that I do like about what Crawford is doing right now. And I think that's going to benefit him. Yeah, I think that's going to benefit him moving forward. That it could help with a Charlo fight if that fight materialized, which I don't think that fight will materialize because it doesn't really make sense for Charlo to lose all that weight. But nah, man, Crawford's been doing a much better job getting his face out there. Now, is he the biggest and brightest and boldest type of personality? No, but he is putting his name and face out there more and more and more and more. And I think that gives
then we saw that top rank.
Yeah, who he is. Yeah, exactly, man. So I think he's doing himself a service.
Yeah, if I could, I got 2 quick points, but I'll try to be quick because I want to listen to everybody else. One thing I've been saying to Bud fans, I've jumped on channel, I've eaten my crow. I said, hey, your guy won, respect. The thing that I had a couple people say, hey, I knew Bud was going to do that. I knew it was going to be TKO 9th round. My only question to them, I haven't gotten responses. Did you see it in that fashion? Meaning, I don't think we saw a competitive fight on the other side from Spence. That's my only question to them, and I'm not getting any response back. It's like they always knew in the ether that was going to happen. I think that's what we're all kind of like. We were expecting Hagler Hearns, back and forth. We didn't expect that, so that's where I haven't. I respect what Errol has done. There's no excuses. I mean, I've heard y'all covered it a little bit. I listened to that BDA. From whatever that was. Which I think you got to be careful with that one with the whole doctor. Went on there and said neurological issues. But Spence himself hasn't really gave an excuse, which I'm riding with that as a fan. I'm like, you know what? He hasn't said anything. I'm riding with that. I'm not going to bring up any other things. I heard the rib issue, whatever this could be. He hasn't said anything. Unless I missed it, I won't say anything either. With Mel and Canelo, I'm curious if Mel wins, do you think that would become that? Would they go for a rematch? And would that be one of the 3 fight deal? Or would that change up everything if Canelo pulled it out, Mel pulled it out?
Yeah, it would. Mel,
we get a rematch instead of a.
It would
Canelo gonna get a rematch.
Absolutely, he'd get a rematch. It would change everything, and that would then mean that Bud doesn't have a fight at 54 outside of Spence, right? Which, I think again, I looked at the fight again. When was that? Jay, when was that? I sent you a message said I looked at the fight again. Every time I look at that fight, man, I start seeing a little bit more opportunity for Spence, and I'm like, why weren't you doing this when this happened? This wasn't like Bud stopping it. This was Spence not doing. So, could the fight be more competitive at 154? I think the fight could be more competitive at 154. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, man. I really like to be transparent. If it was me, I'm sorry, but whatever happened in camp, it would get leaked. Errol doesn't have to say it, but it would get leaked. And like I mentioned to you guys before, someone contacted me who is a credible person who I know has some connection with the camp, and that's what I got. I'm being very careful with my words because I don't want to reveal too much about who this person is. But yeah, that's what I got. Is it right? I don't know. But I put it out there because I know that the source was credible.
Well, Greg, you know me. I mean, I always talk about the business side. I saw somebody in the chat here. At the end of the day, I mean, would we have seen another? If I go back in Monday morning quarterback, I mean, could we have seen a completely different look if there was no Ebenezer fight and they fought like they were supposed to fight at the end of the year? So to me, the breakdown of negotiations was never Spence; it was always Bud, and that's why I respect Errol because he wanted to make that fight. Where if I'm here, and I don't say I have any sources, but if PBC was like, hey, you know what, we're gonna wait and ride it out with Bud and just 154 for Keith. So the fact that he did go, not an excuse, but I'm just saying that you got some work in December. I was waiting for you, so I could argue that the negotiations had stalled that. If people kind of want to, and again, but Spence doesn't give an excuse. And I'm not trying to. My guy lost, man. It was tough, but you know what? I think how champions bounce back is really what I think is important. And then just finally, real quick, fellas, with Shakur, I didn't see the interview with Bob Aaron, but do we think that maybe he should have entertained that 25%? And again, at least. Maybe it was, I don't know, I felt like maybe they should have just talked it out side to sidebar a little bit. Again, maybe Haney was, counting, you pull out a number, but you don't really mean it. But, because now he has nothing. And I think that's kind of where it would have been nice if, because I wanted Loma to win. I just got to say that all day. I've been following Haney. I wanted Loma to win. But I feel like this brother, he gets a lot of hate, but he is running towards his bag and smoke. He is. I mean, he chased Cam twice. Prograis, he said he may come down. Maybe I don't think he can make the weight. So I'm wondering, I didn't see what Bob Aaron said. If y'all did, please let me know. But was that 25% offer you could have countered officially, and y'all took it to Twitter, as opposed to what Bud and Errol did? They talked it through. So I think, regardless of the outcome of Bud and Spence, we saw if you really want it bad enough, you can talk it through and you can make it happen. So I think that's where I'm kind of like. What options do you have? Y'all said Martin. I was thinking Colbert. I think one of y'all said you don't want Colbert. I think Colbert's still at 130. So I just want Shakur to get a name, because right now he has no name. Loma, Loma is where he's at. So yeah, that's all I got, fellas.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling.
Okay, thank you. Hey, stay strong with these Bucks fans, man. I would talk that talk too. If my guy won, I talk the same talk. So I get it. All right, fellas, take care.
All right, man. Later.
Hey, Malik, Dud, whatever how you pronounce your last name. If Bud has a rematch with Spence, he beats Spence the second time. He beats Spence the second time. Big deal.
I don't even know who you're talking to. Somebody in chat.
Yeah, he's just crazy, man. Crazy. The crazy thing about it, Greg, we both said we both said we think the fight be more competitive at 154. We never said Spence wins. Never.
Yeah, we said that multiple times, but I tell you, people hear what they want to hear. 513, you're in the building with the Angry Man Podcast.
Hey, salute, man. Salute to you, man. Salute, Greg.
This big dose.
You already know, fam. What you know, my voice? Hey, that said a whole lot right there, bro. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate you too, man.
What I got to say is, I am so anxious to see how Spence responds to this loss. Because if y'all remember, all the greats took a loss, except for Floyd Mayweather and a few other like 5 other people in history retire undefeated. But how Muhammad Ali came back when he took his loss, the Smoking Joe. You know what I'm saying? And that was a brutal fight right there. And, many other people, Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran. And how did Sugar Ray come back? That's when you get to see what a real champion is made of. You know what I'm saying? How they face that adversity and come back. That's what matters. A lot of people is writing Spence off because of the fashion that he lost in. But even the Bud fans, if they was honest, which most of them is not, because if you ask them a straightforward question, they never answer it. You know what I'm saying? Does Spence look like the Spence we've been seeing for the past 10 years? I mean, it's a fact. He did not look nothing like what I've been seeing, bro.
I don't disagree.
You know what I'm saying? And people can't be honest with that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not making an excuse for him. Did I say he lost because of this or he lost because of that? I'm saying he did not look like himself.
Greatest thinker said yes, he did. But no.
Yeah. Okay. Greatest thinker. So if you saying yes, he did, then you saying Benavidez is better than him. You saying Mean Machine is better than him. But yet before this fight, I bet you none of y'all would have picked neither one of them fighters to beat Spence. But yet they did better with Bud than Spence did. And that's a fact. So you a lie. I bet you wouldn't have bet against Spence against Mean Machine or Benavidez. So if you're saying you would have, you lying. So I don't know what you're talking about. People talking about Spence can't box on the back foot, but he boxed on the back foot against Mikey Garcia and Danny Garcia. He showed us he can box.
Yep.
The man came back from the corner the first round and said, I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? I know you want me to hang up, Juice Lee, because you don't like this truth. You don't like it. It stings. That's good. I hope it leave a last on your back. You feel me? Because I'm spitting all straight facts. Regardless if my guy lost, I'm still backing him. Bro. He still got my support. I'm going to still buy his pay-per-views. And I still support Terence Crawford. I bought his pay-per-view versus Porter. I bought this pay-per-view. Where was the Bud fans at buying it, though? This pay-per-view should have did over 1 million buys. This was the fight everybody wanted to see. But you Bud fans ain't supported, though. Y'all ain't buy it. I bet y'all didn't. Y'all was streaming it. And that's crazy, bro. This pay-per-view should have got our support. Y'all say y'all want these type of fights, but y'all ain't supporting them like y'all should.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying?
Do better as boxing.
So they got an excuse not to do it, not to keep doing it.
Yep. I don't disagree with that.
That's some bull crap. You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah, I totally hear you.
Hey, did you hear that Espinosa said that the rematch is probably not going to happen this year? He said it's most likely going to be next year.
Yeah, it said beginning of next year. It said it could happen at the end of this year, but so you want to put some space in between grueling fights. So, beginning of next year.
That's a great decision. Great decision.
I think so.
And Juice Lee, you're right. I am hurt, bro. I'm hurt that my boy lost like that, man. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? It hurt me to see him lose like that. And that's cool, though. I still support him, though. Let's see how he come back. You feel me? That's what a real one gonna do. He gonna stick with who he ride with all the way out. Lose or win.
So
you know what I'm saying? You stick with your boy Juice Lee on a rematch. Make sure you be here like I was here to eat my crow. And if your boy win again, that's what it is. Because guess what? I'm a boxing fan. First. I want to see the best versus the best. Regardless. And if I like one, guess what? I still got to see the best versus the best. To see who's the best. And right now, Bud's the best. Straight up. I give him his flowers. I give him his props. He looked excellent. But if my boy come back and dominate your boy, let's see if you will say that, though. Just like I just did.
Nah, man.
You feel me?
I totally feel you, bro. Totally feel you. I want to address what Dizzy GMC said. I don't know why, but okay, there we go. He just said he ain't making excuses, but just made an excuse. There's reasons for why things happen, and not necessarily an excuse. Nobody's taking any credit away from Terence Crawford. There was skills that were used by Terence Crawford in that ring that was evident to me and clearly visible, and part of the reason why he won. It can also be true that Errol did not look like the same Errol that we've seen in the past. He looked weak and frail. His coordination looked off in the first round. I said that when I walked in. Like, man, Errol looked off. And I hadn't even seen his interview or nothing like that. His ring walk, nothing, because I came in late. So it is what it is. You know, he didn't look like the same Errol Spence to us.
And it was visible. It's called an observation, not an excuse. You know what I'm saying? That's something
exactly.
that
You didn't say that was a reason he lost. that's what
right.
the excuse is. The excuse is saying that he lost because of this, that.
Yeah.
You never said that.
I didn't say none of that. I just said he didn't look like himself. I didn't say he lost because he didn't look like himself. You know what I'm saying? But you know, Bud fans, they don't like to hear the truth, bro. That's just what it is, man. You know, and once you hit them with the truth, man, they gon' you know, deflect and they gonna take it somewhere else. You know, once you hit your point, they can't answer it. I ask them questions all day long, and they never answer them. Hey, and I'm gonna tell you another observable fact. If you go back and you look at Spence's ring walk for Bud, right? And you freeze it like right before he get in the ring and look at his face. It's an up close shot of his face. Mm-hmm. And then you go back and look at the Porter fight and look at his ring walk and you freeze it. Look at his face. That's all I got to say, bro. Just do them things. Now, I ain't going to say nothing about it. I'm going to just tell you to do them things. Observable fact. You will see it yourself.
Gotcha.
Observable fact, bro. That's all I got to say. On Tank, because y'all was talking about Tank too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, on Tank, I'm going to say it like this. Devin Haney, undisputed champ, bro. You know what I'm saying? Undisputed champ. Where the contract at from Tank? Didn't they say they were sending him a contract? Where is it at?
I don't remember them saying they were sending Tank was sending Devin a contract.
I saw the interview. It was with his second coach, Coach Kenny.
With
Kenny said we sending Devin a contract. That's what he said. Sorry, I saw it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Don't know. I don't know.
It's on what's his name channel that be interviewing everybody, the Hispanic gentleman.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Mill City?
Mill City. It's on Mill City.
Hey. I said you know what I'm talking about. No free plugs, baby.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm just telling you where you can find it since you ain't seen it. You can go and watch it.
Jason.
You feel me, Greg?
No.
You can go and watch
Jason.
You know, I know y'all don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people really don't like Devin Haney, man. And I don't understand why. His father took him from nothing to being a millionaire. I wish my dad did that for me. And a whole lot of other haters wish their dad did that for them. People that hate Bill Haney. He's doing his job because he got haters. If you ain't being hated, you ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And now people talking about him because he went up to 140, but he going up to 140 to fight Regis Prograis. Like he's going to fight a bum while Tank trying to rematch with Pitbull. Because his head coach, Calvin Ford, said Pitbull next.
Yeah.
Don't nobody want to see that crap. I ain't paying for that. Can you say fire stick?
I'm not really interested in seeing a rematch with Cruz either. But that's just me.
He beat him up. He beat him up with one hand, man. And they talking about rematching this guy, man, just because they want to knock him out. We know you're gonna knock him out with two good hands. You already beat him with one.
Right.
So why people supporting the bull crap, man? I'm rolling with the guy that's done did everything he said he was gonna do every time, just like Spence do. That's why I ride with him. That's why I ride with Wilder. He ain't scared of no smoke. That's what I want to see in a boxer. I don't know what I want to see. I want to see the guy that's going out Benavidez. I only smoke. I'm a big fan. You feel me? That's why I ain't been a fan of Bud. Bud ain't went after all the smoke. He went after Smith went after him. I had to give him the world in order to take the fight. He the one to sacrifice. If it wasn't for Spence, we wouldn't even have that fight.
Yeah, that's facts.
And y'all know it. That's facts. I'm spitting straight facts, bro. People can't dispute what I'm saying right now. Just like Devin Haney, undisputed.
Let me read the super chat real quick. This is my guy Tunnel Vision. Per Espinosa team, Devin was called, and they said they are going in a different direction, a la Regis, who just came off a bad match. So Tunnel Vision is saying per Espinosa, yeah, they said they were going in a different direction. Devin, I haven't seen that.
Where the contract. That's all talk. Where the contract. It's in the contract, and then that way they can say we sent the contract, and he ain't even signed it. All that talk.
So they're not going to send the contract unless he's interested in actually having a fight. So if Devin says I'm going in a different direction, they're not going to send a contract.
They've been telling them to send a contract. What you talking about?
Yeah, I haven't seen neither one of these. I haven't seen Tank because number one, Tank has been taking care of whatever he needs to take care of, and then I haven't heard Devin talking. There's been Devin to Shakur to Devin. They haven't been talking about Tank, and Tank hasn't had the opportunity to talk about them. So I don't think much of it right now.
Why would they keep talking about Tank? They done called him out 1,000 times. Then I done heard dudes say, "And well, he need to say something this time, so he need to say something 1,001 times. Then it's true."
No. So I've never heard Shakur calling out Tank.
No, I ain't talking about Shakur. I'm talking about Tank and Devin. I ain't talking about Shakur. See that? They go there deflecting, Greg.
No, but you mentioned Shakur and Devin, and then you said they've been calling them out forever. Like you said, they.
No, I was talking about Tank.
Okay. So, I don't know. To me right now, I'm not. Once Devin fights Regis, which I'm perfectly fine with him doing, and Shakur ends up fighting whoever it is he fights, and Tank comes back, then those guys need to start talking about each other. If they're not talking about each other, then I think you got an argument. Right now, I don't see it.
Right now, to be truthful with you, Greg, and like I said, I'm always keep it 100. I want Devin to stay at 140. He can't make 135 no more. And if Tank won't go up to 140 to fight him, then so be it, bruh. That's just what it is. Tank gonna keep doing this thing. He gonna make a bunch of money doing it, by the Mayweather blueprint. True. Then if you do your thing, bruh, don't worry about Tank. Just do your thing. Go up there. If you can beat Regis Prograis, that's great. Keep doing your thing. Keep moving on. Become undisputed at 140 and forget Tank.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But we'll see. I think he needs to stay at 140 as well. But we'll see what ends up playing out. But Big Dogs, anything else you want to share with the people?
Nah, man. Y'all just keep rocking out, man. You know what I'm saying? I mess with y'all heavy, bro. I watch all y'all videos. Keep doing y'all thing, man. And I'm gonna be coming back on live real soon, man, with my channel. So y'all please subscribe to me, man. Big Dose 5.
Yeah, and, man. Drop it in the chat.
I hope you don't mind me plugging my channel.
No, I don't mind. Drop it in the chat.
Oh, okay. My bad. I should have asked you first.
No,
you
good, man.
All right, man. Salute to y'all, man.
All right, later.
Yeah.
We got the 267 in the building. What's going on with you? You're on with the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg.
What's good, fellas? Nolo from Philly.
What's going on with you?
Why y'all so angry, yo? For real.
Angry Man Podcast, my man.
Hold up. this last caller and Greg, about for the last 10, 20 minutes, you've been on some real angry type ish. Like, why is this Crawford victory got you so tight, yo?
Can I explain?
Absolutely.
So, man, listen. So number one, I'm a fan of Terence Crawford's skills, but there's certain avenues and things that he's done that I did not care for. I'm a fan of Errol Spence. Terence Crawford was dominant in that fight. And now I hear Terence Crawford fans that are making arguments that don't make sense and arguments that PBC fighters were making against Terence Crawford. Now they're perfectly okay with these same arguments being made towards Jaron Ennis. So those are the things that I don't like. But most importantly, and really what's driving this is that Errol lost. And that shit sucks.
Okay. Okay. But check this out, though. Like,
yeah.
Here's what I'm having I'm having a hard time understanding a couple of things. Like, right, like you and quite a few people that have been on your chat for the last 2 weeks. First thing you say is Spencer dehydrated. Spencer dehydrated. All right, so let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. This man has a nutritionist that's a professional, a medical professional. He has a trainer that my guess is Derrick James professionally knows Errol Spence better than anybody over the last 7 or so years, and he was evaluated at some point before the fight by a doctor. Are you telling me that all 3 of those people missed that, but the casual eye caught it?
Yes. That's exactly what I'm telling you, because that happens all the time in sports. In
boxing,
that happens all the time. That happens a lot in boxing. The trainer and
the doctor ain't doing their jobs. Is that what you're telling me?
No. Here's what I'm saying. You can be checked out for as much as you want to, right? But you're still getting all the way. You do realize that the weigh-in is the day before, and those guys are losing weight all the way up until the day the weigh-in. So a doctor checking you on Wednesday does not mean that you're not dehydrated on Friday after you pushed yourself to actually make the weight. Those are two different things, man. We've seen this happen in the sport a lot, and we've also seen people leave it all. Let me finish.
Do we know that the doctor didn't check him on Friday?
Do we know that they did?
Do we know that for sure?
But do we know that they did? And what's the check for being dehydrated?
I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. That's the point that I'm making.
That's the point that I'm making as well.
So I would think that they would be able to see with a trained eye more than us that aren't medical professionals that this man is dehydrated. And I'm trying to figure out that Derrick James didn't see it.
So let me ask you a question, bro. Let me ask you a basic question. Because have you ever worked out?
Yes.
Have you ever gone to the gym and one day you on fire and the next day you can't do shit, but you felt the same way going in that day? Exactly. Yeah. There's nothing that you can just observably see that, hey man, today I ain't gonna have it. It's internal, my brother. So if
listen, I disagree with that only because professionals have trained eyes. In every single profession, they have trained eyes.
So you saying that they can assess you just strictly by looking at you, that they know that you're dehydrated or not?
A nutritionist or a doctor or Derrick James, yes, I would think.
This is what these people do for a living. I'm gonna stop you there because I actually had to go to the hospital back in 2021 for dehydration, and I can tell you for a fact they do not know if you're dehydrated just by looking at you.
So if that you know what, you just made my argument. If they don't know, how do you know? And the rest of the Spence fans. Hold. You made my argument just now.
Hey, I'm telling you.
Know, how do you know?
So can I finish? So the assessment is by looking at him that he looked dehydrated. He does not look the same. Nobody is stating. Hold on, let me finish. Nobody is stating 100% that he was dehydrated. What people are saying 100%. Hold on. What people are saying 100% is that didn't look like the same Spence, and that they are assuming that he was dehydrated based off of things that were said by Floyd Mayweather and so forth. Secondly, you just started commenting on, oh, well, the doctors checked them. They checked them. The trained eye. They check your blood to tell whether or not you dehydrated. You think that they're giving blood right before a fight? False.
Listen, let me be honest with you. Okay, I've never been in a training room before a fight, so I don't know. I'm just saying what make you always say you use numbers and logic.
Sure.
I'm just saying from a logical standpoint, I would think that two medical professionals and his trainer that has been with him for at least 7 years would be able to see that something is off with this guy. That's all I'm saying. That is just weird that they didn't.
So who said? Hold on. Who said that they didn't? Who said that they didn't?
That's all.
Who said that they didn't?
That's a good question. That's, you know what? That's a very good question. I would be surprised if one of the medical professionals said, "Listen, this guy was dehydrated, and to me, and right now it might not be a good idea." Boom. I don't know, but what I'm saying is, I'm not the one making claims. I'm the one that's noticing people making the claims, right? And speaking, go ahead.
$25 million on the line. You going out there whether you dehydrated or not. Period. And what people are saying is that Errol Spence did not look the same. And what they're using logically is he had puffy eyes and all that other stuff that would make you believe maybe that he could have been possibly dehydrated going into that fight. Okay. That's what people are saying. Right. Nobody is definitively saying we know 100% he was dehydrated. But they're making the assessment of he might have been dehydrated the way he looked in terms of his performance. That's it.
Okay. All right. I'll accept that. I read the comments just like y'all do over the last 2 weeks. Now, you and your mans and quite a few people that root, not all, for Spence, have done nothing but take a lot of shots at what y'all call Crawford fans. And some are delusional, no doubt. But you know what? Every fan base has that group that's delusional. So don't put all of us like in the same box. Let me just give you a few of the things that I've read from Spence fans.
Hold on, can I give you just give me 1 second to acknowledge these people in the super chats. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Slappy Happy Gorilla Daddy P, respect Bud versus Spence in December. If Bud wins, he should go after 2 belts at 154 to solidify his career, unified at 154. Love that. And then Juice Lee, big fish threw 120 punches. Then Bud needed a Gatorade. Got it. I think he means fewer punches. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. What are some of the things you've heard?
These are some of the things I read on your thread. Tyson gave him weed before the fight. He took too many pain meds. That's why he was drowsy. And then I think that Tuesday that you brought it out, it was a rib injury. There was no sparring for 6 weeks. His balance was off. Yeah. He was weight trained. Like, some of these are ridiculous. Like, Tyson gave him weed gummies. Like, seriously,
we agree with some of
I understand it's hard when your man gets starched the way he did. But he got his ass beat. Call it what it is. Now, if you feel as though he didn't look right, then fine. It's going to be real interesting if they fight at 154 and he starts his ass again. Might not knock him out, but he dominated for 12 rounds. It's going to be real interesting to see what the excuses are then. And I'm going to tell you, dog, I like y'all podcast, but Greg, you are a hater, dog. For real. And here's why I say this, okay? When you look at it, like the hood definition of a hater is pretty much when you have somebody that are able to achieve some goals that most people can't, and they get to the top of the mountain with these accomplishments, and most people are congratulatory. They're applauding these people. You always got them few that's like, you know what? They're going to lay back in the cut. They're going to find reasons to poke hole and discredit them and say, you know what? It wasn't all that impressive. And my dude, this is exactly what you do to Mr. Crawford. And I want to break it down real quick. I ain't trying to take too much of y'all time.
No, go ahead.
I've heard y'all review quite a few Spence fights. Brooke, Ugas, both of the Garcias, Porter. And y'all have given that man credit for every single victory, be it a 12-round decision or total in domination or the knockout. The only criticism I've heard y'all give is when Ugas clipped him. And to that I say, I agree with y'all 100%. He dominated Danny. He dominated Mikey. And it's like y'all were able to see that, give that man his flowers, and move on to the next fight.
So
now let's flip the other side of that coin so I can show you why you a hater.
Okay, go ahead.
Now,
go ahead.
Here's what you do. You take every Crawford opponent and you find something that's wrong with that person to minimize them, and then that in turn makes an attempt to diminish his victory. This is you. Benavidez, Jose Benavidez Jr. Well, you know he got shot in the leg. No, he won a fight. But
it's true.
He got shot in the leg a couple years ago, so we really don't know how strong that leg is. So
that's
he's kind of fighting on one leg.
That's true.
The Porter fight, he won. But, you know, he had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He started the analyst stuff. He really wasn't there.
That's all true.
Yuriokis Gamboa, he won, but he wasn't the same at 135 that he was at 126. So it really wasn't that great of a fight.
It's true. He got knocked down multiple times when he moved out of the way.
Hold up. Kell Brook, well, you know he was a broken fighter because, like, he won, but Triple G broke one orbital bone. Errol Spence broke the other orbital bone. So he really wasn't the same.
And he was coming down in weight.
Like, you find a reason. You can't just give this guy his props and say, you know what? He put on a dazzling performance.
So
let's go ahead and move on. Like, why is that?
Let me ask you a question. For the last 2 weeks, have I not said that Terence Crawford is the best fighter in the world?
Yes, you have, but you've also diminished every single win that he had at 147.
No. Hold on. That was before the fight. Number one. I still feel the same. Let me finish. I still feel the same way about those opponents. But he just had Errol Spence in front of him. And he demolished Errol. And I gave him his props for that and said that he's the best fighter of this era.
And then what did you do 2 days later?
What? What did I do?
He was dehydrated. He was weight drained. He couldn't spar.
But let me ask you. I'm sorry, man. What's your name again?
You tried to diminish his win, dog. You can't get around it.
What's your name again?
Manolo from Philly.
Renolo. I gotta remember your name, Renolo, because I like what you're bringing. But I'm not diminishing his win. Two things can be true at the same time. Crawford could have been. Let me finish. Crawford demonstrated a superior level of skill versus Errol, because I saw where Errol was leaning in front of Crawford or doing this, that, and the third. And I'm like, no matter what, that was going to be an issue. What can also be true is that Errol didn't look like Errol. He looked weaker than what we've seen before. And that didn't, and I'm talking about when I walked in, I'm like, Errol looks off balance. Like he blocked the punch and it looked like he could fall over. I noticed that in the first round. Two things can be true. I'm not diminishing his win, because I said if you put him in the ring with Boots right now, based on what I saw versus Errol Spence, Terence Crawford wins. Versus what I saw against Errol Spence versus what's the guy? Charlo, Jamel Charlo, sorry. He will probably beat Jamel Charlo too. Was definitely if Jamel comes back down. But I thought, hey, if Jamel wasn't moving up, he'd probably beat Jamel just based off what I've seen and how strong Crawford looked in that fight. That is giving Terence Crawford props. Let me tell you what you and most other fans do. They focus on when I say something that's not favorable, and that becomes the narrative that all I do is say stuff that's negative.
I acknowledged it, though, that you gave him his props, but at the same, you know what that's like? Have anybody on this thread ever heard a black woman in corporate get a backhanded compliment and an insult from a white lady that says, "You're really pretty for a black girl"? Like, that's what you do. You say, he won the fight. But so you try to take away from it instead of just saying the man put on a dazzling performance. But I only got two more things real quick. Let me get on. You gave Spence credit for going over to the UK and beating Kell Brook for that IBF strap.
Yeah, that was
in a hostile environment, correct?
Yeah, great win.
Okay, let me ask you this: did you get Terence Crawford credit for going over to the UK and beating Ricky Burns for his WBO strap?
Yeah, he went over there and beat him for the WBO.
Oh, you did? Okay, I missed that.
No, so the difference is I made the comparison between the two, and I think Errol is more impressive because of who Brook was at the time. But both were
but the
impressive
question
wins.
is, do you still? This man did the same exact thing. I'm not saying the caliber of the opponent was the same, but they achieved the same goal. So how is it easy to give praise to one person for doing something, and then when somebody else does the same exact thing, you have a hard time giving him that same praise?
I gave him the praise. But the video that you're talking about,
brother, if you did, I missed that, and it was my mistake. Yeah, I just don't remember it. That's all.
The video that you're talking about was very balanced. It gave Terence Crawford his props, but the whole purpose of the video was to compare against Errol Spence. And because I compared it unfavorably against Errol Spence, it's taken as being negative, and I'm shitting on Crawford. It's just a comparison.
All right. And the last thing I wanted to say real quick is I think that Breakfast Club video is been the way that people talk about it. Terence Crawford never said, I want Canelo. He never said, I want Tank. That dizzy-ass Charlemagne asked him about that. He answered the question. So my thing is this, like, I honestly don't think he wants Tank to come up from 135, but if he did, you ain't had no problem when Mikey came up. And contrary to what you believe, Mikey was at 135 when he came up, not 140. Because he took that fight against Robert Easter and beat him and took his belt, his lightweight belt, at 135. And he came up.
He fought AB at 140. He fought Lipinets at 140.
But that was the fight at AB was before the Robert Easter fight, dog.
Let's go ahead and look up the box.
And if I'm not mistaken, he beat Lipinets after he beat AB. So he beat.
Let's pull up the box, Rick.
If I'm not mistaken, at 140, and then went back down to 135 and beat Robert Easter. So the truth is, he did jump up 2 weight classes. So even though I don't want to see it, personally, I do want to see the Boots fight. So I want all y'all Spence fans to recognize, not all of us, that root of Bud is trying to shy away from that smoke. I think Bud, I think he will take the big fights. Of course, he wants the money, but what I'm saying is, my dude, you gotta be a little bit more fair.
Broner was at 140. Broner was at 140. Lipinets was at 140. For some reason, they have Robert Easter Jr. at 135.
And then after the Easter fight, he jumped up to the Spence fight, correct?
But he had already been at 140. He had already been at 140.
Right.
The point is what it is.
The point is, he went up 2 weight classes, and you didn't have a problem with it.
And I still don't have a problem. You know what? This is what you want to.
So
this is what you want to hear. This is what you want
to. Derrick James.
This is what you want to hear. So I'm gonna give it to you. No, this is what I'm gonna do because this is what you want. And I don't got a problem with it because it's Errol Spence. Now what? That's what you want to hear, right?
Yo, for real. Thanks for taking my call and letting me, get my issue off, whatever. Yo, y'all keep up the good work and y'all brothers stay up.
All right, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling in, bro.
All right, coach.
All right, later.
The Philly caller that's not a Boots fan.
Oh man, that was I really enjoyed that call. Damn, I enjoyed that call. Thank you, sir. You need to call in more often.
Manolo is from Philly, but he's not a Boots fan. Interesting.
Oh, really? He's not a Boots fan? When did he say that?
He never said anything about Boots.
Oh, okay, God. Well, maybe he is a Boots fan. Maybe he is a Boots fan. But nah, man, that was a great call, man. I like callers like that have a different perspective, but can be respectful, man, and just have a good time talking about the sport, man. That was great. The caller punt Greg. Yeah, right. Anyway, so what else we got going on, Jay? Phone lines are open, guys. Phone lines are open.
Yeah, I was checking to see if he's going to chime in.
Manager Marty in the building. What's going on with you, bro? Salute. Yeah, man, the calls are a little bit lighter today, but that's a good thing because we're at 1 hour and 54 minutes, so we're probably going to hit that 2 hour mark and call it a day. But nah, man, Jay, I really think we're misunderstood, specifically me. And the reason why I'm so misunderstood, Jay, like you give your opinion, right? But your opinion is more soft-spoken and things like that. My opinion is very hard and aggressive. And, people don't always like it. But
People don't like FSU.
Hell, I know who we got in the building right there, and he's one of our favorite guys. Go ahead and let the people know who it is.
It's Adrian.
Hello, my friends. It's Jerry Soriano, your lender for life. Happy Sunday. How are we doing?
What's going on with you, man? What's going on?
What's going on?
Hey, let me ask y'all something. I don't think I've ever I heard it. Do you guys really want a rematch with Spence and Crawford? What is your opinion of that?
I'm not good.
I mean, it's good content. So, I mean, I'm thinking.
I go.
You know.
So, Jared, my thoughts is this. Personally, after the fight, I would say not immediately, just based on the way the prior fight went. You know, I'm no doctor or anything like that, so you know, I can't say, "Oh, Spence has all these X, Y, Z." Fully now at 154, I'll entertain it because Spence is pushing for it. You know, he didn't show any waiver in his mind that, you know, he didn't want to run it back. We've seen fighters get beat, and those fighters be like, you know, they don't really say nothing about the fighter that just beat them. You know, in this sense here, it's like we got to run it back. Now, me wanting to see this rematch at 154 doesn't mean that I'm gonna pick Spence to win this fight. That's what a lot of Bud fans think, that, oh, we want to see the fight. That's Spence ain't gonna do. I'm not saying that. I think it'll be more competitive at 154 than it was at 147.
So you're basically saying you would like to see a rematch, but not necessarily immediately, right?
Right. If it's not immediately, I'm okay with it. If it's immediately and Spence thinks he can do it, I'm fine with that as well. You know, me personally,
I got you.
I'd rather be one or two fights down.
I got you. No, I agree with you as well. All right. I wanted to give y'all a little background. Do y'all know the story behind Tim Bradley and Crawford? Because I know people get on Bradley like, you know, he's always defending Crawford. Do y'all know the story?
I do.
Yeah.
It's a very, very, very good story, and it makes a whole lot of sense. I don't know if your viewers know it, but back in 2011, Bradley was out of sparring partners. He was preparing for Devon Alexander and Pacquiao, back-to-back fights I believe he had lined up, Alexander being the mandatory. And he was out of sparring partners. He called Cameron Duncan, and he said, hey, I got this one guy, Crawford, I can send him. You know, because he was running through all his sparring partners. Crawford comes in by himself and wears Bradley out. Wears him out. And he goes, dude, who are you, man? What are you doing with your career? He's like, they don't have me doing anything right now. He's like, you are not a sparring partner. I'm telling you right now, you are a world champion. And Crawford was like, are you serious? He's like, yes, you are. So he called Cameron Duncan, the manager, and said, hey, what are y'all doing with Crawford? It was like, nothing right now. He's on the shelf. They were like, why? He's got some he's got personal problems. He keeps getting in trouble and blah, blah, blah. He's like, yo, this guy right now, I will buy him out of his contract if you don't want anything to do with him. He's like, no. We're interested in him. You think he can beat Prescott? And that's exactly the beginning of his second chapter of his career. He was doing nothing until Bradley got involved, and Bradley was telling him, like, man, this guy came in with no coaches, and I had someone in my corner, and every time I adjusted, he adjusted. He made on time, on the spot adjustments. You're talking about a world champion. Bradley was like, this dude is going to be one of the best fighters in the sport. Believe me, this was back 2011, 2012. So when people are looking at Bradley, how he talks about Crawford, it's not just like an ESPN connection. It's the dude had everything to do with Crawford recharging his career. He literally said, if Cameron, you don't do anything with this guy, I will buy him out. And as soon as Cameron Duncan heard that, it was like, all right, this guy's got to be special. So when you listen to Tim Bradley, you also have to consider the special connection that they have, and that's why it's so personal with him. I saw Ellerbe making fun of Bradley on Twitter, that it seems like, you know, Bradley's living vicariously through Crawford, and it's that those guys have a brotherly bond, and if it wasn't for Tim Bradley, who knows where Crawford's career would be right now. So, but anyway, I'll hang up and listen, my friends. Hey, Greg, by the way, I know you said you had heard that Crawford, that Spence suffered some sort of rib injury and he ain't been sparring for 6 weeks.
Yep.
The problem with that, my friend, is the first episode of All Access, he was actually sparring in that episode. So God knows what the truth is, man. And I do hope there's a rematch, but it's sometime down the line after Spence has made a couple of fights and is back and feels like he's back. So that way we definitely don't need more excuses the second time around. I'll hang up and listen, my friends. You enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. We got the 609 in the building. The only thing I want to address about the sparring is, come on, man. It's a television show. Like, there's really no evidence of whether he was actually sparring versus doing something.
Or the timestamp when it was.
Exactly. All right, man. We got the 609 in the building. What's going on?
Yo, what's up, Greg?
What's going on with you, bruh?
Chilling. Oh boy, I just wanted to talk to y'all. Did y'all see y'all saw the parade, right? The Bud parade out in Nebraska.
No,
saw those damn people that were there.
No, I ain't.
You saw. I know you were just talking about it. You see him everywhere, right? CBS, he all over the place, right? I guess my question to you is like, is this guy like a superstar now?
No.
What it take?
Is Bud a superstar now?
No.
Is he bigger than Spence now?
No.
No? Are you sure? Are you sure about that? The second thing is what? I mean, I'm disappointed in the numbers where they say 700,000 pay-per-views. And I'm happy with the gate because the gate was close to one of the fifth highest. Do y'all have any reason to believe those numbers to be accurate? Or are they just trying to downplay this fight for whatever reason? I mean, why is this man all over the place? Everybody want to interview, all these major networks, and they're telling me that this fight didn't do the 700,000. How is that possible?
Yeah, I don't, because Bud's not a draw. What do you want me to say, dog?
Bud's not the draw, right?
Well, so Terence, let me ask you a question.
Wait, hold on a second. Didn't y'all say that Errol was doing 400 or 500 by himself?
Hold on, let me ask you a question though, and because you've been following the channel for a while, you haven't heard me say that. Generally speaking, neither one of these guys are that popular. You haven't heard me say that before,
right? Well, you have.
Yeah. So 700.
But
Jay, I had it. Yeah. I predicted 700,000 buys.
Yeah, we said between 7 and 7.
I don't know, man. Like I said, man, I don't know. I still don't know if that Tank and Ryan fight did that much. I'm having a hard time believing it, bro. I'm just having a hard time because after the fight, you heard anything from Tank? His take on CBS? Where's all of his notoriety after this $1 million? All these people saw it, and you ain't hear nothing about it. That's what I'm saying. I'm having a hard time believing this man did all this $1 million.
Tank was out of commission. We know he wasn't around, dog.
Huh? Say that again.
Tank wasn't around. He was out. He was out of commission. He was not available to do anything.
Oh, he wasn't out. He wasn't available. And then to think about it, the fight before that, how much did he do? They didn't even announce it. I think my man, I know nobody wants to believe the one dude, but he said 61K.
Yeah, Greek laser.
So I mean, I'm having a hard time believing that fight did it. I'm just saying that I'm just having a hard time believing that fight. Either they're lying about the Bud and Errol numbers, or they're lying about the Tank numbers. Because Tank, I mean, come on, bro.
Well, Errol and Bud numbers are correct. They're partially correct because that's the number that I predicted it to be. So it definitely was correct. And I predicted 1 million.
22 million. Look, they got all those people out there, and they didn't do. Okay, whatever. I don't believe. I'm just having a hard time believing all that. The numbers are, but I know you're upset a little, Greg, because that man's a superstar now. Yeah, of course you're not going to admit it, but he's a superstar now. He's all over. He's got the notoriety now.
So define.
So now, of course,
define superstar.
Yeah.
Define it. What is a superstar? What are you defining that as?
Just like notoriety. Now everybody, he's going to be a household name. Everybody going to know Bud.
Man, stop.
Everybody going to know Bud now. That's why he's demanding. So y'all should not have a problem with him not fighting Boots. Y'all had a problem with that, seriously?
If
anybody have a problem with him not fighting Boots?
Wait, Terrence, hold up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Terrence, hold
up.
Hold up, Terrence.
Go ahead.
You gotta give context to that. So my problem with him not fighting Boots is that if he stays at 147. That's basically what we're saying. If he stays at 147, he needs to fight Boots. At 154.
Okay, I agree with. Wait. But I do agree with him. If Big Mouth Tank really wants to fight him, he'll take that fight, and that's the only fight he'll take because that's the biggest money. Now, if he fights anybody else, I agree with y'all that he should go ahead and drop those belts because there ain't nothing out there for him at 147. I'm 100% agreeing with y'all. And in fact, if Charlo's not there at 154, then you know what's left. I mean, maybe he goes in there and fights the boy that has the title. What's his name? The Russian. What is he? The Russian or whatever. Maybe he fights him. That's it. If he can't fight him, because that'll give him his third weight class, he won't be undisputed at that class. But that's the only thing left for him, right?
That would be his fourth. That would be his fourth weight class. And what's the benefit of that? Then you might as well just stay at one.
What you mean? Four weight class? What you mean? Wait,
so what? So
are you
what?
serious right now?
Against Tim Tszyu. Context matters. It'll be against Tim Tszyu. Man, stay at 147 and defend your title against Boots.
The history books is gonna say what? 4 weight classes. Whatever. They ain't gonna say, it was Tim Tszyu. Come on, this man going for legacy. So yeah, I think he can ride off in the sunset with that. And then let's talk about Floyd. Come on, man. Like you said, two things could be right. Floyd said no, and I'm the one, because when you were saying that somebody was saying it was me, and I'm going to keep saying it. Floyd said that he's partners with that man. Somebody's trying to break it. I didn't hear what you said.
No, I said, yeah, you were who I was thinking about when I said it.
Yeah, you were. And I said, Floyd said, and he said it again, he reiterated it again, that him and Al are partners and nothing goes down without him knowing about it. He said the fight wasn't going to happen, Greg, and it didn't happen. And then he went and fought at Avenue. That's what I said back then, and I'm standing now. That's what happened, Greg. Why are you so mad? Like the man said, why are you still mad about it?
No, because I'm mad, Terrence, because that's not what happened. Okay, when Mayweather said that the fight wasn't going to happen, a few days later it came out that that Terence Crawford was going to fight David Avenesian. So of course
he said that the 7th, Greg.
No, he didn't.
That was Oh, Greg, this revisionist history right now.
No, it's not. Hey, man, all you gotta do is go look at the truth behind Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. I literally lay it out with.
So what day? So what day did it come out? They said, when did Floyd say that? Then, Greg, what day? Because I have to look this up.
It was a few. Go look at the video. It lays it out for you. I did that video months ago, so I don't remember all the dates. But that was around the time when Floyd said that. Then a few days later, Errol mentioned the whole, I could have been fought somebody, this N-word, blah, 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 blah. And then they announced the David Avenesian fight. That was the sequence. You're acting like Floyd said that back in April. That's false.
Exactly.
I didn't say it back in April, Greg. I'm saying he said that closer to October. And then the next thing you know, after he said that, bro was like, hey, I'm moving on, bro. He ain't going to fight me right now.
Why we still talking
about this? And so he moved on.
Why we still talking about this? I'm right,
I don't know.
You're wrong. So go ahead to your next time.
I don't know why we still, but I did want to move to that point where now Floyd's trying to, when he says, oh yeah, well, he's weight draining, he's trying to make excuses so people won't get to that conversation of him and Bud comparison. He don't want that. So he wants to say, oh, his biggest win, it was against a dude that was weight drained. Oh, I ain't going to talk about the fight. If you see the interview, I don't want to talk about the fight. I don't want to talk about it. But everything he said was try to downplay Bud's victory. Come on, bro. He don't want that conversation. But I'm sorry, Floyd, the conversation going to be there. They're going to compare you to Bud because they don't know who will win. Everybody's not going to be like you and say, oh, yeah, but I mean, Mayweather would have won easily. Nah, you had the rough fight.
I never said that.
You had some tough fights, and you got rocked a few of them fights, just like Bud. So you weren't like you weren't a man of steel where you just never ever came close to losing a fight. In fact, people say you lost against Luis Castillo, and I'm saying he won that fight. But I'm just saying there's people out there that say you lost the fight, bro. So come on, you can't just say, "Oh, there's no way that Bud could have beat Floyd." Come on, man. Y'all need to stop that.
So hold on. Nobody ever said that. That's number one. Let me riddle me this. How many Hall of Famers are on Terence Crawford's resume today in those 40 fights? And how many of them are Hall of Famers or will be on the Hall of Fame? And how many of them are on Floyd Mayweather's resume? Case closed. That shit's over. Stop that, man.
We can't listen. But, okay, Greg, all of those guys that you say on his resume, his Hall of Fame resume, who beats Bud? Which one of them dominates Bud? That's on Floyd's ring. Tell me one. Tell me one.
Who cares?
Tell me one.
Who cares?
Well, tell me one. This is the same argument This is the same argument Bud Fez was saying when y'all was saying that Errol had the better resume. I kept telling y'all, who's on Errol's resume that could beat Bud? None of them.
Let me answer your
question.
None of them.
All of them would have been heavy underdogs. And most of those people that's on Mayweather resume, Bud would be the favorite right now against all of them. Bud would be the favorite.
Hold on. Because you done lost your damn mind.
I lost my mind.
Yeah, you lost. So you think Bud just wipes out Manny Pacquiao?
He beats him, yeah.
No, but you're talking about
what did Bob Arum say? What did Bob Arum say? He didn't want him to fight because he didn't want that man to get beat up.
You talking about
that's what Bob said. Bob told you what was going to happen. He knows.
You're talking about dominance. You're making two different arguments, bro. You're making two different arguments now.
No. Okay, how am I making two different arguments?
Because
you said, can he beat Pacquiao? I said yes. And I said Bob Arum agrees with me.
You made the comment of dominant, and that's what I'm addressing. Dominant.
Okay.
And he's not going to be dominant over none of those dudes. None.
He beats all of them. I think he beats all of them. Why do he have to dominate them, though?
Why does he beat
I'm just saying he has to beat them. You're talking about their resume. He just needs to beat them, and that's what you're using as your defense to say that Floyd should be greater than Bud. I'm saying he beat those guys on his resume.
But why? Why? Because he beat Errol? Why?
This was before Errol, because I look at his skill sets, bro. Where's it deficient? You got to give me something where you say these guys, Manny's going to do this, and he's going to. He has the biggest. He has a great. He's a big edge on Bud.
Because when I point out his deficiencies,
what did they do that Bud can't do?
When I point out his deficiencies, then I become a hater. Because you said he's deficient. Then when I point it out, I'm the hater.
Oh, go ahead, Greg. Point it out. I'm saying in any of these matchups,
Terence Crawford would have. Terence Crawford does not have the same footwork you're talking about right now. It depends on what time period you're actually comparing these fighters. But he doesn't have the same footwork. He's going to be slower than Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao will be able to dart in and get shots off. Period.
And who has what's one of his biggest attributes is what, Greg? Timing, right? What does timing do? Timing beats speed all the time, Greg. You know that.
Okay,
that's one of his biggest attributes. He jumps in, Bud times he's banging, and he's hurt, and Bud jumps on him and it's over.
So who has better timing and accuracy than Floyd Mayweather Jr.? Who's faster?
Okay, bro, that's truly a 50-50 fight.
It ain't no fucking 50-50 fight, man. Floyd will watch that dude, man. Be quiet, man. Get up out of here.
50 fight,
Get up out of here. It ain't no 50-50 fight. What? Floyd's faster.
What is it, Greg? 60-40, 70-30? Explain. What is it, Greg?
Floyd's fast. Let me finish. Floyd's faster.
All right.
Floyd's faster. Floyd has better defense. Floyd throws straighter punches. Floyd has better footwork. He wins in every category against Crawford. The only thing I'll give Crawford is maybe counter punching.
More power?
No, he doesn't have more power. He doesn't have more. Yes, better timing. He doesn't have more power. Better time. He beats him in every fucking category. And you're sitting up here talking it's a 50-50 fight.
Wait.
Listen, here's my thing, and I've thought about this a lot. Just like I was telling y'all when I thought about it was a lot when Bud was going to beat Errol. I've thought about that. I said at 130, I'll give you that. Floyd was fucking amazing at 130, 135. In that smaller division, I think he beats Bud. But at 147, I got Bud beating him, bro. All of that stuff that he could do at 130, he can't do the same thing at 147. So, yeah, I got him at the lighter weight classes. I got Mayweather, I got Bud at 147. Because I think his punching power, because if he punches, if he hits Floyd like my man did, he ain't gonna stop. He gonna jump on him. He gonna finish you.
How many? Hold on.
He got caught. He got caught.
How many times have you seen Floyd get hit flush? How many?
Not a lot. Not a lot.
Exactly.
That man's great.
Exactly.
Not a lot. Not a lot.
Exactly. So you going in there thinking that Terence Crawford is just somehow going to land clean on Floyd just because he can counterpunch? Like that's not
one shot.
That doesn't happen.
All he needs, Greg. All he needs is one shot. That's what I'm saying. That's what y'all don't give him credit for. He don't need to win 8 or 9 rounds. He can get one shot and get you hurt and get you out of there.
Did he knock Errol out in one round?
Prisoner of the moment, bro.
Did he knock Errol out in one round with one shot? Did he knock him out with one shot?
No, he didn't.
Who is he knocked out with one shot? It takes more than one
get
shot.
You hurt, Greg. I'm saying get you hurt. I'm not saying the shot's going to knock you out. I'm saying get you hurt.
There's a lot of cats that's finishers, man. So Floyd and got hit clean. They couldn't finish him. Floyd recovers fast as hell. Like when Manny caught him, Floyd was back in like 10 seconds. When Shane caught him, Floyd was after the second one. And his
Shane. That's what I was talking about. Shane.
He was back. He was back and beating Shane's ass. All this stuff about he gonna hurt him and get him up out of there. This is revisionist history. Man. This is being a prisoner.
I'm saying he might, moment. Greg. So you're saying it's like a mixed match, 80-20? What's the odds?
Man,
what's the odds on the fight?
I got it.
Greg, I'm just seeing if you honest here. What's the odds?
60-40. 60-40.
60-40. I'd give you 55-45, but I ain't going no higher than that, brother. But he's in the conversation. The point is, Greg, is that this man's in that conversation, and there's a lot of people out there in their channel saying this man not even in the conversation. They haters, right? You gotta be a hater if you're saying this man ain't even in the conversation of being top 10, top 5. Come on, he's got to be in the conversation right now.
Man,
do y'all remember what? Y'all remember what Sugar Ray looked at 36 years old?
No.
Do you remember this man is 36? Now you take a Sugar Ray at 36 and a Bud at 36. Who wins that fight? Bud dominates him, right? Now, 36 years old. Sugar Ray was fighting when he was 36, and so was Bud. And y'all know Bud dominates when they go 36. Y'all would have to go all the way back to he was like 25, 26 to fight Bud.
Terrence,
but right now.
You're talking about two different eras where you're talking about two advancement in medicine. PEDs, all of that exists today.
What we bringing up PEDs for, Greg? What we talking about here? Yeah, PEDs. What that got to do with anything? Greg, what we talking about here? PEDs? What? You ain't using another Errol Spence excuse, right? I've heard so many. I've heard the PEDs. I've heard everything. Now you ain't tapping into that, are you, Greg? PEDs. What that got to do with anything, Greg?
This is. I'm joking, man. I'm joking.
Okay. All right. Because I know that I done heard everything. I done heard he ain't himself. Like that guy was saying, there was so many excuses. 100,000 excuses for Errol. Come on, let's just throw away the excuses because we know that man's a superstar now. Floyd knows he's a superstar, so he's trying to downplay him.
False.
Okay, I thank you for giving us credit for the win, but let's just stop the excuses. And I know you're upset. I mean, you got to learn to deal with that. Talk to your therapist or something, Greg. It'll be all right, man. It'll be okay? Just count to 10. When you get mad about hearing Bud, count to 10, breathe, and it'll be all right, all right? All right,
Man,
that man's a
appreciate you
superstar
calling in,
now.
man.
And all your Errol fans, I'm sorry, bro. He's a bigger star than Errol Spence now. And guess
stop.
what? Errol don't care. He's just chasing another bag. He don't care. He don't care
find out.
anyway. He's vacationing, having fun. He's got his bag, and he wants another bag, and then he'll retire. So, okay, guys.
All right, man. I appreciate you calling in, bro.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. And to the next one.
All right, man. Later.
Later.
You are on the Angry Man podcast with Jason and Greg. Just give me 1 second. I want to address what's going on with Terence. So great call from Terence. He was factually wrong about mostly everything that he said on the call. Terence Crawford is not a bigger star than Errol Spence today. We will see in his next pay-per-view. I can't wait to see what he does, but he is doing a good job of putting himself out there and promoting himself more. Terence Crawford would not be in the top 10 pound-for-pound fighters ever in the sport because there are a number of fighters that you could put ahead of Terence Crawford. Will he be in the top, I don't know, welterweights, top 10 welterweights? Maybe. But top 10 fighters of all time? Alexis Arguello, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, Roy Jones, Sugar Shane Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. I actually take Oscar De La Hoya up out of there. But Roberto Duran. Man, stop that dumb shit, man. Okay, you're on the Angry Man podcast with Jason Gray. What's going on with you, bro?
What's going on, man? Appreciate y'all for answering. I got a question. So if Bud do go 3-time undisputed, will he be able to be top 10 all time?
Yeah, I think he is. I think he hits my top 10. Well, so I'm gonna answer this with a caveat, right? I don't like Charlo going up and coming back down. I don't like that. But if Charlo would have stayed at 154 and he did it, absolutely he would have gone into my top 10 for sure. He might still go into my top 10 even if Charlo comes back down because I weigh accomplishments with the context of it. So
yeah,
he might, yeah. But
my issue is even before the Spence fight, I've always told people this years ago. I was like, Bud has the skill set of an all-time great fighter. Like, y'all might not see it because of his opponents, but I look at the things he's able to do in the ring, and I've always told people he does things that the greats do. You feel me? Like, if you watch him versus Spence, the way he was pawing the jab and blocking it and countering, like, that's Ray Robinson type shit, Archie Morty shit like that. He is special. So I get it that people don't want to give him that because of his resume, but I think his skills can put him in there. Now, as far as the Floyd versus Bud conversation, I want to kind of touch on that. So y'all don't think Bud has a chance?
Of course he has a chance, man. He's a great fighter. What I don't like and what I push back against is not so much that he doesn't have a chance. It's more so that Tim Bradley is making comments as though it's a foregone conclusion that he beats Floyd, and the logic and the reasoning didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So that was the pushback. But of course he has and I said 60-40, but I mean, Terence Crawford is a rangy fighter. Will good counterpuncher. He's a smart fighter in the ring. He has very good technical skills in certain areas. But there's a number of areas that he will not have advantages on with Floyd Mayweather. And that speed, timing, I don't know, it's your preference in terms of IQ. But even in speed, those type in movement, that's going to be all Floyd Mayweather. So, but would it be a close competitive fight? Absolutely, because Terence Crawford does have punching power. He has the ability to counter. He does have good timing. So, yeah, that'll be a dangerous fight for Floyd.
Fantasy matchup at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a fantasy matchup, but it'll be a dangerous fight. I look at it. Just,
go ahead. I want to cut you off.
A foregone conclusion, but go ahead.
I look at it like this, okay? Styles make fights, of course. Floyd is, to me, the smartest fighter I've ever seen. That's just my opinion. Yeah. I think Bud advantages is he's a southpaw. That's for one, he can switch hits. I think in that fight, he would have to be southpaw majority of the time. I don't care how great of a boxer you are. Nobody likes to fight southpaws. Yeah, I look at the opponents that gave Floyd trouble, and this is what I say. Is Luis Castillo a better fighter than Bud Crawford?
No.
Okay. Is Zab Judah a better fighter than Bud Crawford?
Zab gave him absolutely no problems
after
the fourth round, but he's a lot faster, yeah.
Okay. Marcus Madonna, is he a better fighter than Bud Crawford?
Absolutely not, but he was just a very strong and awkward
He's more
fighter.
rugged.
Okay, so what I say is if guys like that, who to me are inferior to Terence Crawford, if they were able to have success, then yeah, Crawford could definitely possibly win that fight. You know, that's how I look at it. Now, anybody saying Bud is going to win clear or Floyd is going to win clear, it's just pure bias. But if we look at it objectively, that's a close fight. But I would say this, if it's at 147, I might lean towards Bud. If it's any other division, Floyd wins. I would say that. But at 147, I think that's the closest it'll get in favor of Bud Crawford. I will say that because I think he's stronger at 147 than Floyd is. But I will also say this. There isn't a fighter smarter than Floyd, and he figures everybody out. So, hey, I just don't like the whole, all right, Floyd will win clear, Bud will win clear. That's just delusion, bro. And Timothy Bradley is definitely delusional in that aspect.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that, man. I think he's delusional in that aspect, and I think your analysis on this is fair. Like, Bud would be a dangerous fight towards Terence Crawford. The only caveat and the pushback I would have is that I don't necessarily think that Bud has been put in a situation where there's a fighter that would give him problems just because of the resume. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who knows what a Maidana, a rough and rugged fighter that can take a punch from him, could get in there and give him problems. Now, Bud could actually throw a body shot and get him up out of there. Who knows? Because Khan was able to drop him with a body shot. Who knows? Floyd was able to hurt him with a body shot as well. So, I mean, you just never know, man. Styles make fighting. That's the interesting part about boxing.
Nah, for sure. Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all channel. I be in y'all comments trolling sometimes because I was definitely disappointed in how y'all was doing my guy Bud. I was definitely disappointed. I'm like, these dudes know boxing. Why are they this biased, man? Like, they know what they talking about. What's wrong with them? You feel me? But I'm coming around, man. I'm coming around.
Well,
I'm a Spence fan as well. But I felt like I had to kind of go a little harder for Bud because I don't think he was getting the love he deserves.
Well, no, man, I can appreciate people like you, man, calling in and giving your thoughts on it. Very rational, and it's all about bringing people together, really, man, to talk about the sport. And we've said this on multiple occasions. I don't think people always understand and know this, but it's about coming together, talking about the sport. And I have a great time with talking to people who are Terence Crawford fans and Errol Spence fans. I just don't like the Terence Crawford fans that come in who are clearly just trolls or calling names and all that other stuff. That stuff is stupid. Come in and talk about the sport.
Man, I'm a boxing fan first. I actually live in Dallas. I've been a Spence fan since day one. I just felt like it was always a style clash, and I just felt like the boxer would always win that matchup. But I love Spence, man. I wish the best stuff for him. I think he gonna bounce back. And I've also said this too. Last thing I'm saying before I go. Nobody else is beating Errol Spence. I want people to understand that. Just because Bud beat him, nobody else can beat him. I want everybody to understand that.
Yeah.
You know, so nobody else is beating that kid. That's a fact. So, yeah. But, hey, I appreciate y'all, man. Do your thing.
All right, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. All right, later. All right, so that's the last phone call. I want to acknowledge somebody, Shalia Johnson. My first time seeing you on the channel, so I just want to acknowledge you and say thank you for joining. I can see that you're a Bud fan, but that's all right too. My guy Jason Williams is in the building. What's going on with you, Jason Williams? We getting ready to wrap this one up. I want to thank everybody who contributed to the channel. Appreciate it. And I want to thank Terence for calling in, and God, I forgot his name already, but from Philly, man, those were two great entertaining calls. Jerry as well. We're getting a whole lot more Terence Crawford fans calling in now than what we used to, and that's all good as well. Man, what else? We got content getting ready to drop here soon. Mark M, appreciate you, man. Thank you, Mark M. Good show, gentlemen. This is for the graphics for my documentary. Appreciate you, Mark M. We definitely going to work on something like that. It probably won't be in the near future because I'm not going to do any documentaries in the near future, but definitely working on something like that. If you haven't had the opportunity yet, guys, please smash that like button before you head out. We got content on deck. I am doing another interview with Corey Spinks and probably will drop that sometime this week to get his thoughts on the latest that's going on in the welterweight division and other areas of boxing. And I've still been trying to get back in contact with Gary Russell Sr. Hopefully I'll be able to get in contact with him again this week, and we'll be able to drop some content with him as well. All right, guys, appreciate it. Thank everybody for calling in and supporting the show. Until next time, peace.